What a finish! What a man! The drum roll finishes, and the target is
and it comes on finals night, and it's a knockout
Andreas Dirty Harrison! Van Velzen!
Has Coulson got the same feeling across the double nine?
Sure.
He has indeed.
Getting 2 darts at the double will certainly aid his cause. Double 5. Found
On the second leg
by the defiant John Worsley. The target. And in it goes. This time it's treble 11. Would have left double 14. Instead it's the bull, and that is beautiful.
And these are the sorts of things that he does do, though. Double 16, our opening leg, and this is exactly what we were talking about.
Time for the final stare down here at the Modus Super Series. The final night worth of qualification here in week 7. And for the 2 players who dropped out of Group A, last chance saloon, only Neil Duff on that group has qualified through to finals night as of yet. That was after Charlie Manby and Aaron Turner made it through this afternoon, going through the emotional roller coaster there and having a much more relaxed night, I can imagine, is Laura Turner. Have you managed to calm down yet?
Yeah, no, of course. I've been fed in between. That's fine. Yeah, it was an exciting afternoon for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, it's when you've got some personal interest, obviously my husband playing in the group as well. It was great to see him progress.
In terms of the actual darts, he did a good job of just getting the job done today, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did quite a lot of the legwork yesterday. Both him, Anthony Allen, and Charlie Manby. They were all, 4 wins out of 5. So a lot of it was done. It was just who could just hold on. It felt a bit up and down for all players, barring the table topper. But yeah, did just enough and finds himself into his first Saturday.
In terms of Charlie Manby, he was the class act, wasn't he, of that group?
It was just very consistent, dropped just, a handful of legs throughout and made it light work of quite a lot of things. You see the 170 there, and it was great to see. It was a good reaction from him because a smile on his face. He was playing with just that little bit more freedom. Still had to wait until kind of the second or third game just to make sure he was definitely through. But yeah, once he was in full flight, it looked like there was no stopping him.
Let's have a look at the tournament bracket then as we head towards the final session of qualification this week. Neil Duff won Group A. Charlie Manby and Aaron Turner made it through Group C. And Group B is what we're going to be watching this evening. Derek Coulson's top of the pile, having won all 4 of his matches yesterday evening. Just 1 win tonight will be enough to guarantee his place through. And because of the healthy lead he has in terms of legs difference as well, he's probably going to get there even if he gets to 8 points tonight if he loses all 4 tight. Not that he'll be thinking about that, but he was the dominant force in the group. A couple of other players on 4 points as well. Martin Turner and Conan Whitehead, John Worsley and Kevin Edwards with it all to do this evening. But look, last night was all about Derek Coulson. Had a running average of 94 throughout the course of the evening. He's beginning to get a real reputation here and in other arenas as a player that is just so hard to dislodge because of his sheer consistency at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that throw that he's so solid, he's so grounded, but he backs it up with the performance as well. And we saw it last night, went through the card and, he did it with just such ease as well. I think, there wasn't many players that were really pushing or threatening him at that level. So definitely the one to kind of watch. I'm the same as you. I just can't see him not qualifying through into tomorrow's finals, but really tight with the 4 chasing pack.
Let's have a look at the odds then and see what the bookies think about tonight's action. Derek Coulson, a very heavy 1-5 favourite. Not just has he got a 4-point lead in the group, but he's also got a very hefty advantage in terms of legs difference too.
Yeah, can totally understand that as well. And they've pretty much gone with the order that we can see on the table with the others. And I just don't think, Kevin Edwards right out there at 80-1. Nothing is impossible. There are still 4 more games to play. And Group B is one of those ones that, if someone else can go through the card as well. We have seen some strange things in Group B. It could all come down to leg difference, could get really tight and exciting, but really important for especially the 2 at the bottom to make a strong start.
18 plus, gambleaware.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series. And it is Derek Coulson that is in action in the first game of the night. He takes on Kevin Edwards. Any win for DC, and he is in to Saturday nights when he could get it done with 3 matches to go in his night and with 9 games to go overall in the evening. It could be an easy peasy lemon squeezy night's work for Derek, but his first assignment, well, I can imagine it's a bit of a drag. He had to speak to this guy. Derek, 4 wins, 4 decent performances last night. You must have been really pleased with the way it went.
Absolutely, yeah. I enjoyed myself up there yesterday. It was going to be tough. When I saw the group, I thought, wow, this is going to be hard. But settled in really quickly. Every time I went up there, first leg was a good leg. So it got me into the game quickly, which was a bonus.
Are we seeing a better version of Derek Coulson every single time he comes here to the Super Series?
I think so, yeah. I love it here. I absolutely love it here. So every time I come down, I want to improve. And obviously the target, the aim is to get to the Champions Week and hopefully semi-final next time and maybe the final.
Is that something you're looking at as one of your goals for the year? Because obviously you and Darius have had your battles in previous times. Is that one of those goals for 2025, obviously on the back of everything that you're looking at and thinking, yeah, I'd like to give that a go?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I desperately want to do it now. When I first came in the first time, it was like, experience it, enjoy it. But after being champion Saturday two times running, I want to win it. I desperately want to win it.
It's been a great start to the year for yourself. Obviously, the semi-finals of the World Seniors, UK Open as well.
Yeah.
You must really be enjoying the crest of the wave that you're on at the minute.
Loving it. I mean, even though I lost the UK Open, the experience again was amazing. The seniors playing on that Circus Tavern on the stage, playing Mervyn, playing so well, it was great. So yeah, the belief that's given me after playing here, everything I've done here, moving on to that. So this year has been fantastic.
Well, I wish you all the very best. Go well, Derek. Good luck.
Thank you, Henry.
Well, it's been some year for Derek Coulson. Made his debut around about this time last year on the Modus Super Series stage. And ever since, he has been a thorn in the side of everybody, everywhere he has gone. Semi-finalist at the World Seniors Championship at the Circus Tavern last month. Played at the UK Open earlier on this year. And he takes on Kevin Edwards, who also played at the World Seniors Championship. His experience didn't quite go to the mesmeric heights of DC, the 56-year-old from Market Drayton in Wales, looking to make it through to 3 consecutive Champions Weeks, 1 Series 8, Week 12. His second appearance came as an alternate qualifier because you may remember the previous appearance for him at Champions Week came because of a pull-out late on in proceedings. So his average was good enough to get himself through into that particular affair where he made it through to Champions Night. And both appearances, actually, he's played at Champions Week. He's made it through to a Champions Night. So he takes on Kevin Edwards then in game number 1 of 10 of the evening. Any win for Derek Coulson. It's as simple as he is through to Saturday night's final. And knowing that, he'll want to get the job done without any kind of fuss whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. These two obviously met last night, so kicking off the action here tonight, and it was a 4-0 win for Derek Coulson over Kevin Edwards. Kevin Edwards finds himself languishing at the moment at the bottom of the table.
Game on.
But we were working together, weren't we, on Tuesday, and was overseeing some of that Group A action, which included a near miss on the 9 for Kevin Edwards. Missed the double 12 to have the 9 perfect darts, and it just shows the levels that he's got. It's just the consistency, I think, just hasn't quite been there this time for Kevin Edwards.
I feel like that's been the story of the week for all of the players that have participated in Group A, because we've seen glimpses, we've seen moments, but we mentioned at the top of the broadcast tonight that, in matter of fact, you look at the players that have been involved this week, only Neil Duff is guaranteed a place into Saturday night's final from that group. Charlie Manby, Aaron Turner both came into Group C. And the top 3 players at this present moment in time in this group are the 2 players that came into Group B earlier on this evening.
140.
So Kevin Edwards and John Worsley tonight are looking to ensure it's a case of at least somebody else than Neil Duff from Group A progressing their way through to the Saturday night showpiece of the Live Lounge.
95.
In terms of last night, Derek Coulson, well, he was streets above the rest. In fact, Kevin Edwards had the second highest average of the 5 players, but yet sits bottom. Coulson 94.03 his average over the course of the night, 40% on his doubles, and even at the highest echelons of the game, is he going to find himself incredibly hard to beat? And in this first leg against Fro, he's left himself on 1-2-1 after 9.
45. Derek, you require 121.
Yeah, decided to stay there, sensible. Now just looking to tee up.
81.
Kevin Edwards back on 81, but there was that little minute glance down there from Derek Coulson. I think he was contemplating it, but thought better of it in the end.
I get the sense we're going to be saying this sentence a few
60.
times this evening.
Derek, you require
Derek Coulson
40.
has left tops after 12 darts. Because that is pretty much his range. He
Game shot on the
deals in
first
5
leg,
visit
Derek
legs.
Coulson.
And he gets an opening break in 13 darts.
Yeah, Derek Coulson very
Second
much
leg, it's Derek to throw
starting
first.
off
Game
tonight
on.
where he left off yesterday.
$134. $100.
Yeah, telling reply there by Kevin Edwards, but Derek Coulson kicked off with the 1-3-4, just 60 there, and you can see the disappointment, the expectation that Derek's got for himself now because of how he's been playing very high.
Well, it's fair to say his reputation has gone up another
125.
notch in the last year or so. He was on debut here around about this time last year. It was Series 7, Week 2, and it was a very, very good week. A high caliber, high quality field was
60.
assembled for it. Now, he averaged 91 over the course of his Group C campaign, and he did not qualify through to the finals. It was a week which was won by Conor Heenahan, featured the likes of Andy Bolton, Carlo Van Peer, Justin Smith, Danny Jansen, Darren Armstrong, Mike Norton, Jack Mail, Louis Williams and Alex Small. So it's in very elite company for a Super Series debut. Average 91, didn't quite make it through, but then kept on winning events on the Seniors Tour. Kept on knocking on the door, kept on asking questions. And it's Edwards here looking to ask the question of Coulson. He's unable to take out the 101. The story of Derek Coulson is continually doing good things and forcing the issue of other people to invite him and qualify him for things.
Yeah, and I know we always say averages, they're a guide. And yeah, absolutely. But what I will say, averaging that 94,
59.
they were all
Kevin, you
between the range of
require
91 and 98. So it's that consistent level. Sometimes you can get the outlier, can't you, where someone will whack in a big 110 average, but then back it up with an 80. And it kind of skews the final
24.
overall average. But
Derek,
no,
you
just
require
very
48.
consistent.
And a bit more than consistent now, averaging in excess of 102. And I'm going to open up a 2-0 lead if he can find double 16 and now double 8. Well, for Kevin, it was a bit awkward last time out.
Kevin,
Hit
you
double 12 his
require
first start.
28.
Missed a couple at double 14, but will return for 3 more at this target.
Oh, comes really inside. Just a bit of a shake of the head there. Double 7. Now the
14.
target.
Derek,
Already
you
some
require
early chances
16.
come and gone for Kevin Edwards.
Double 8 to double his lead.
Game shot on the
And
second
it goes.
leg.
Derek Coulson has a cushion, and he's now a couple of legs away from qualifying through to tomorrow night's final
Third
with
leg, it's Kevin to the
considerable
road
ease.
first. Game on.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that average and you compare the highest to lowest. Not often do we actually see a player's average over the course of a session actually be their mean average. And that is completely what it is for Derek Coulson.
Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting point because, as you say, some players, they will have a slightly off game and then they'll have a game that, is that kind of really big outlier.
45.
But consistency is sometimes the key when it comes to progressing within this sport. And that's where Derek Coulson's getting it right. As you mentioned, he's doing it on the World Seniors. At the UK Open most recently. Okay, didn't quite go to plan, but also here at the Super Series.
Has had a high average here of 109, but he's one of those players that because he's constantly hanging around a 91, 92, he's probably one of those players that's harder to beat than those enigmatic players that have that 110 and they will bash you off the board, but then at the same time could have a 79 in them. You always know that when you're playing Derek, you're going to be embroiled into a battle. And you're always going to have to play at your best to stand any chance of beating him.
$57.
Derek chasing that treble around the board. Came up trebleless and a bit of an opportunity here for Kevin Edwards. 75 scored. Yeah, 184 left. And
135.
just squeezes in a second treble 20.
Evans has got an opportunity to get something back.
98.
Problem he's already been broken in this game, so he's going to have to find that break back at some point, but he's got 6 darts here to at least get on the board with his darts. He's not going to do it with 1, 2, 4 this time. Upon his return, he is going to leave himself on 32. Solid sum.
You require 32.
But is it going to be enough? Is he going to even get a look at it? Because Edwards double 16 to bring it back to 2-1.
Game shot on the third leg.
No problem
Kevin
this time
Edwards.
round for Kevin Edwards. Gets his first leg of the evening.
Full flag. It's Derek.
Which is more than he can say for the meeting last night between the pair, which Coulson won by 4 legs to 0. Kevin, because he finished third in Group A, has to play first and last in both of the sessions in Group B. He actually won his opening match last night against Conan Whitehead 4-2, and then it went severely wrong from that point onwards. A 4-1 loss to Martin Turner, a 4-3 defeat to John Worsley, and then the heavy defeat, the hefty toll that Derek Coulson put on him, which is the reason why he goes into tonight's session at the bottom of the pile.
100.
I think the dominance of Derek Coulson, obviously, when you're playing against a player that is dominating, you do want to get that win. But for the rest of the pack, because Derek looks like he's almost guaranteed to go through, a win for Derek would probably suit everyone else who's chasing.
Because he's so far in front and he's pretty much guaranteed to go through, everybody in the practice room is wanting Derek to win every single game they play against everybody else other than themselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
For different reasons, everybody wants Derek to go 3 from 4 tonight. Just not against them.
85. Derek, you require 161.
He's got 6 starts here to open up a 2-leg buffer in this contest. Doesn't have to go for the 161 if he doesn't want to. And we'll never know whether he would have contemplated the bull.
97.
What he has done is leave himself again in a very handy position after a dozen darts. Should get at least 1 upon his return to re-establish the 2-leg gap in this match.
97. Derek, you require 64.
It's double 16 now. The target.
32. Kevin,
And a
you
chance
require
here for
94.
Kevin Edwards to level up at 2 apiece. Back for the ball.
55. Derek, you require 32.
Bit of an ironic stare at the board there from Kevin Edwards, who missed the ball by some margin.
Game shot.
There's
on
no
the
missing
full
there
flag.
from Derek Coulson, who opens up a 2-leg gap in this match. Kevin Edwards throwing to stay in this contest.
Fifth leg,
But
it's
for
Kevin to throw
DC,
first.
he now finds himself on the hill. One more leg, and he qualifies with considerable comfort through to Saturday night showpiece once again. He's only ever missed out once on a Saturday night for the Super
140.
Series. That was in his debut appearance. Ever since then, he has done one thing and one thing only. That's make it through to Champions League, whether that's by winning a week or being a bona fide runner-up in a week.
60.
Although, this time around, I don't think it's going to be one of them Champions Weeks where you're going to get an invite for being a good runner-up. It looks like one of those Champions Weeks where we're going to get the full complement.
108.
There's no other extenuating circumstances this time around.
Yeah, I do agree. And there, we've seen the first maximum of the match. Had to wait till leg number 5, but it goes the way of
140.
Kevin Edwards. Although the 140 there, not making too much inroads. Derek Coulson in this leg will maybe forced to
125.
serve it out himself.
Well, on for potential 11 data here, Kevin Edwards, to bring it back to 3-2. You feel like against Derek Coulson, if you're going to make any kind of inroads, you're going to have to play
140. Kevin, you require
top-level stuff.
56.
And to Kevin's credit, could come up with the best leg of the day here if he can get it done in 2.
16. Derek, you require
We saw Derek Coulson have the
161.
161 the leg before. Didn't have to go for it. We said this time he will have to go for it. And it's not going to happen. Chances once again for Kevin Edwards.
64. Kevin, you require 40.
Well, this to extend the game and to force Coulson to serve it out. Double top. Is
Game
good.
on the fifth leg.
Back
Kevin
to
Edwards.
3-2. Coulson throws for his place into Saturday night.
Sixth leg, it's Derek to throw first. Game on.
And it could be a case for Kevin Edwards how costly those misses were at the outer ring. And that second leg to break straight back to Derek Coulson.
96.
He's on the back foot slightly.
$140.
Well, Friday night darts
96.
here at the Super Series, but for Derek Coulson, he's making it look like just another night at the office. Just having a look at the scoring power pack in this game. He's had 7 scores of 2 trebles.
85.
Edwards has had 5 scores and the solitary max in the game. And to be fair to Kevin, he's really put the task up to Derek, where there was perhaps a point where it looked like it was nothing more than a
58.
possession from DC.
Yeah, he's just kept himself very much in the match. How much he'd like to pin that treble 20 right now, and he did.
21.
But it clattered into the other dart. Didn't have the power to stay in the board, but that was most definitely in the red bit.
Bar for an unkind ricochet out of the board. And what it has done is allowed Derek Coulson the wheels now to be put in motion
140.
to finish the job off, averaging 91.3, a typical Derek Coulson performance. And he's now 111 points away from confirming his
60.
place
Derek, you
into
require
Saturday night's final.
111.
Yeah, and that last visit there by Edwards has afforded at least 6 darts for Coulson. Treble 17 would have left tops. So 74 left.
51.
Edwards can only apply pressure. But Coulson's going to get a couple of darts here to confirm his place. It felt like an inevitability anyway. But Coulson on the cusp of
Derek,
doing
you
it without a
require 6.
matter of fuss.
Single 20 for tops. Looks like a good marker, but
40.
yeah, really pulls
Kevin,
it
you
low.
require
And
95.
this is a real opportunity here for Kevin Edwards to level it back up.
And in fairness to Kevin, he has earned this opportunity. But he chased the treble. He's paid the price.
55. Derek, you require
Coulson's going to get 3 more. You don't expect him to pass this opportunity by.
Game shot.
And he won't.
And, the match,
And Derek Coulson, with comfort and ease, qualifies for Saturday night's final. He only needed 1 win tonight. He's got the 1 win in his first match, and he can breathe easy for the rest of the session. A 4-2 victory against Kevin Edwards, average of 88 in the end. So DC has qualified for Saturday night's final. Conor Whitehead takes on John Worsley in game 2 on the other side of this short break. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Lewandowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler!
Yeah, welcome back to the Super Series, where we've just seen Derek Coulson confirm his spot into finals night with a 4-2 victory over Kevin Edwards. Derek Coulson there carrying on as he finished yesterday's evening session. But now we turn our eyes to a different part of the table. And there you can see the table. That's confirmation. Derek Coulson, 10 points at the top. But what we've got coming up next is Conor Whitehead, as you can see, sat there in 3rd position, in a qualification position at the moment. He's taking on John Worsley, who just picked up the solitary 1 win yesterday. And Kevin Edwards still stuck on 2 points following that loss against Derek Coulson. So These two met in the penultimate match yesterday, and it was Conan Whitehead that got the better of John Worsley. It was a tight match. It was 4-3 to the former Champions Week, the inaugural Champions Week champion Conan Whitehead, but it was a tough little battle between the pair of them. And John Worsley will be wanting to get the better. There you can see the 39-year-old from Rainham. The Barbarian is our Conan, and one of the more experienced players here at the Super Series, taking on John Worsley from Chepstow. Nicknamed the Womble, and I think we've had a few kind of wombling references throughout the week, courtesy of co-coms. It is Henry.
Forget Womble, it's been a bit of a wobble this week for John Worsley at the Super Series. Up against Conan Whitehead, who I think it's fair to say last night did not get going. He punched in numbers that we do not usually expect from Conan. He looks like he's very much psyched up for the evening action as the Barbarian. Yesterday, 80.62 was his running total in terms of his average across 4 games. And perhaps worryingly as well for Conan, just 26% in terms of his doubling. But if doubles are a trouble for Conan, it was exactly the same for John Worsley. 17%, 9 hits and 51 attempts for him yesterday means that he's languished on 2 points. And you get the sense if he loses this one, there's a possibility that clear daylight could emerge. Conan wins this, he'll be full clear of Worsley, and if Martin Turner was able to spring a surprise against Derek Coulson, he'd find himself behind the 8 ball after just his first game of the evening session.
Yeah, the group has that feeling, doesn't it, that it could take shape very quickly, or it could really come down to the wire. And these first few fixtures, I think, will just kind of give us a really good indication of how things are going to play out.
I get the sense that by game 5, we'll know whether it's game over or game on. We will know the dynamic by the midway point tonight, whether we're playing 5 dead rubbers or whether we're playing 5 matches where actually everything is on the line.
Yeah, I hope it's the latter. I like it when it comes right down to the wire.
Conan, you require
I'm sure the players don't.
And I'm sure tonight you don't mind drama. This afternoon was a bit of a different tale.
Different kind of drama. It's more emotional torment as opposed to anything else.
Well, this is a breathe easy zone tonight. Whitehead coming back for 90, doing so after just 12 darts, getting off to a more positive start of the 2.
81. Conan, you require 90.
Opted to go the 18s route. I'm going double. Can't
54.
find the second double.
John, you require 139.
139 is one of those shots. It's demands absolute perfection. That is a good first. Very unfortunate. Ball would have left double 16, but has to tee up for tops and hope he gets another chance.
You require 36.
Well, Conan laid down the gauntlet with the previous turn by going the 18s on the 90 in the first place. But whatever his thought process was, the execution was perfect. Plan A goes to plan. Whitehead 1-0 to the goods. And he really is psyched up for this tonight. You can see by the numbers he punched in yesterday, it was below par for a man of the calibre and the CV of Conan Whitehead. But he looks like a man that is absolutely determined to put that correct this evening.
Yeah, you could argue it's been a very similar campaign for John Worsley this week. He has been very up and down. And you mentioned on Tuesday, one of those players that has always found a way to make it through to Saturday whenever they've been there, and that's really in jeopardy. This is pretty much unknown territory for John Worsley.
8 from 8 in previous appearances here at the Super Series, and even the Champions Week he played and he got through to the Saturday night on that particular occasion. So this is perhaps a complete and utter unknown for the Womble.
108.
He's usually booked his trips here for 6 days, but if Conan Whitehead carries on in this vein of form, he may well be departing come the end of Friday night. Because Conan does look like a different animal so far this evening.
133.
Yeah, solid visit there and a bit of a wayward one from Whitehead, but
81.
recovers well to ensure if he gets to come back, he is on a finish.
Well, he's not going to take out the fish. Whitehead will come back for the 140. And
28.
don't be surprised here.
You require
If he finds the treble with dart
140.
1, maybe he will head for tops. So he decided to go the treble 18 to dart 1 of that particular combination.
$82.
7 there would have left himself on
require
double 10. Worsley looking at
142.
142. Point gap in the averages, so perhaps not a surprise that leg in, leg out Worsley may be given these types of opportunities to take
45.
out, with Whitehead
You
then left on a
require
single to
58.
double after.
Yeah, there's the single. That should be an inviting dart for Whitehead, and it
John, a
is, and it's
second
well
leg.
taken, and
Golden
it's
Whitehead.
2-0 to the Barbarian.
Comfortable, calm
Third
and
leg,
measured
it's Conan to the row
performance.
first.
97 the average, 2 decent legs, 2-0 to the good, and just too much at the moment for John Worsley.
95.
I'm just thinking about that 90 finish, because I always think, especially when I've been here and commentated on Whitehead when he has been at the Super Series, his love of trying to pin the bullseye. So I'm surprised that he went that route, considering,
58.
I would have expected a ball first, or, at least 220s and a ball from him. He does like to bring it into play as much as he possibly can.
Well, he said that double 25 is his favourite double on the board, and there has been occasions where he's been left with 15 legs and he
123.
goes straight for it because he feels like it's not playing up to a crowd or anything like that. He feels he's got more chance of hitting that double than anything on the outer ring.
It'll be interesting to see how he progresses as
42.
the night goes on as well, because right now this feels like a really measured and professional performance. He knows he's got a job to do. He needs to get across that line, get into Saturday night's finals.
99.
Bit less risk-taking, perhaps, playing the percentages. Although I would argue going treble 18 is perhaps not playing the percentages, but
I haven't spoken to Conan to kind of confirm this, but knowing Conan like I know Conan, the way
140.
yesterday went in terms of performances, we've been happy with the outcome in terms of points, but in terms of the performances, he wouldn't have been happy. And I just wonder whether tonight he wants to show up, do the job he needs to do, and just tell everybody that he is a contender to win this week, and that you shouldn't judge him based on what was perhaps at times a subpar display, because this has been night and day in comparison to the numbers he punched in on night 1.
55.
44 left after
Conan, you
just
require
9 darts.
44.
Sorry, after just 12 darts. 101.79 is the average. That's a 14
Edge on the
darter. That's
third leg,
3-0
Conan
Conan
Whitehead.
Whitehead. And he is in control of this game.
Fourth leg, it's John to the row first.
won those first 3
Game on.
legs and a total of 45 darts, averaging just over 100. As you say, you want to lay down this marker early on. Let the rest of the group know you're serious. This is yours for the
95.
taking.
And Conan will also have one eye, not just on qualifying, but also one eye on winning the group as well. Okay, he's going to
92.
need favours. He's going to need snooks. He's definitely going to have to beat Derek Coulson tonight and then hope that he slips up somewhere else. But he don't come here just to finish P2 and say, yeah, that's okay, and that'll get me through to Saturday night.
97.
If he's in a group, he wants to win it regardless of the situation.
$99.
Yeah. John Worsley just trying to get a little bit of
99.
an advantage in this leg where he's throwing first. But he's finding it really hard to shake off the Barbarian.
81.
But it's the first real opening for Worsley in a leg. Hasn't had a dart and a double so far in this contest. But for the first time, he's got a little bit of wriggle room. He's got 6 and 210 to at least get on the board and to force
100.
Conan Whitehead to serve this match out in the next.
$54. John, you require 110.
Conan Whitehead there chasing the treble. Bit of a slip, so a forward 6 darts to Worsley. May only need the 3. Tops is now the target to get a leg on the board.
70.
Not to be there, but he's got 3 more opportunities to get said leg on the board. For this time round,
135.
he's going to be
And you
under the severest of
require
pressures
40.
because that 135 leaves Whitehead on top if Worsley misses 3 at the exact same target. 2 10s. Double 5 now. Doesn't go, and so
35.
Whitehead's back for a 4-0
And you
win.
require 40.
Conan now chasing around the board as well,
shot
but does
and the
find
match.
double 10. That is a comprehensive 4-0 victory for Conan Whitehead over John Worsley. Definitely the best performance we have seen from Whitehead in this version of the Group B campaign. And look, very happy there, up on the stage talking to Jack Garwood. And there you see, we have the averages in 96, 97 for Conan Whitehead. 4 out of 7, nearly 60% on the outer ring. Much improved performance and those 2 precious points. Well, coming up next, we've got our tabletop of Coulson playing Martin Turner.
Charlie McGuire, 164. 44. 32. Charlie require 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
require
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
require
hockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
118.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job
it.
done.
Got out the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Welcome back. It's the live lounge in Portsmouth. It's the Modus Super Series, and it is Game 3 of Group B. Before the break, Conan Whitehead dealt a big blow to John Worsley's chances of making it through with a 4-0 defeat. the Barbarian up and running, average of just under 97, much more like it in comparison to some of the numbers that were punched in yesterday from the Barbarian. Next up for us, Derek Coulson, the 56-year-old from Market Drayton in Wales, has already qualified his way through, courtesy of a 4-2 win against Kevin Edwards in the first game of the night, up against Martin Turner, the 55-year-old from York. The Mutts Nuts hoping to be exactly that come the end of the week. Now, I need to go back to geography class, Laura, because Market Drayton is not in Wales. Market Drayton is on the borders in Shropshire, but Derek Coulson is a Welsh player. You know, I should have listened at school a bit more often.
It's probably not the only subject you should have listened
First
to.
flag, it's Derek to throw first.
English for starters.
Game on.
Yeah, but this could be proven to be an important game here for Martin Turner. But what I do expect from
100.
Derek Coulson, despite the fact that he has qualified, I don't see him taking his foot off the gas or whatsoever. There are certain players that kind of need that adrenaline, that
100.
rush, in order to kind of maintain a really high standard. Derek, to me, very measured, doesn't really necessarily need that.
He may take his foot off the gas. He may average 90.
Yeah. Averages. Lowest average I think
60.
that we've seen from him was that 4-2 win over Edwards. It was 88, but as expected, he's always there or thereabouts.
96.
He's always playing at a level which is always going to afford him opportunities in games. For Martin Turner, in a great position to qualify through to Saturday night here at the
140.
Live Lounge. There's a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this venue. Loves playing here, but hasn't always got the results that he would have
95.
wanted. Just the solitary appearance through to a Saturday night in his time here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, but does come off the back of a victory on the WDF circuit. Picked up the Scottish Classic title
85.
around about a month ago. Beat Stuart Wares by 5 legs to 3 in the final of that one to pick up another
100.
WDF
Derek, you require 116.
major. His second big one of his career. Picked up the Welsh Open a couple of years ago. Also winner of the Isle of Man. Coulson looking at the 116. Looking at double 18.
80. Martin, you require
Doesn't look good for 1-0.
110.
No, and these I feel are the big shots that Turner's going to have to take. And
Yeah,
take it, he
shot the
does. A
first
110
leg.
out
Martin
for a
Turner.
15 dart breaker throw for Martin Turner.
Well, that's
Second
some way
leg,
to start
it's
the
Martin
night.
to throw first.
Some way to get yourself going.
Game
Martin
on.
Turner with a 110 finish to kick off the night. And he had to take it out. His opponent had missed double 18 for the
100.
116. And with 3 in his hand at that particular target, you would have expected Coulson to have got. But if Turner can win this game, suddenly the walls begin to close in on both Kevin Edwards and John Worsley. Because the pair
85.
will be 4 points behind second and third. And with just 3 more games to play for, there'll be just 6 more points available
58.
for those two. Although there is a granted nature that Whitehead and Turner will go head-to-head at some point later on the season. There'll be points dropped somewhere. But effectively, you're probably going to have to be perfect, one or the other, to make it through to the finals if Turner was to win this match.
Yeah, we won't have to wait too
43.
long for that Turner-Whitehead clash because it's just a couple of games away. So that could start making the table shape up even more. So
99.
yeah, Martin Turner, a player that we've met several times going around on the WDF circuit. But you go back to
140.
the kind of 2010, 2009 upwards stage, and very much a regular on the Players
44.
Championship. Played on the Challenge Tour.
Yeah, one of those players that prior to 2011, you didn't have to have a tour card to play in a Players
57.
Championship event. So if you wanted to stump up the money And by stumping up money, it was a fair bit of money to enter those events. If you felt you're good enough, you can just pay your money, you pay your price and see whether it works or not for you. Did have a tour card for a couple of years between 2013 and 2015, but his real success in the game, yes, he's played at the UK Open on 6 occasions, but the place where he's really found his success has been in recent years on the WDF circuit. Won those couple of big ones, won the Isle of Man, played at the last 2 Lakeside tournaments. And he has ran some big names close in both of those appearances. Say more about that in the next leg as Coulson looks at double top to square up.
Yeah, this would undo the hard work that Martin Turner did in the first, and it is 1 apiece. Coulson now back with that advantage of throw.
Third leg, it's Derek to throw first.
Well, for Martin, the first year he came in, he was an unseeded player. He beat Liam Mendel Lawrence by 3-1 in his first match, before then succumbing to Neil Duff in the last 16 of the competition. Averaged 81.5. Duff winning in the last set decider by 3-2.
140
for last year. Not having the same levels of success as his debut in the competition. He would be seeded for that particular competition, but he would go out at the first hurdle, losing 3-1 to Brian Roman, who at that point of the tournament was just beginning to trend in the right direction.
100.
Sure, a return to Frimley Green is going to be high up on the agenda for Martin as 2025 comes to a close.
Yeah, I think he's a player that, especially, as you say, in later years, is really on everyone's radar when we go to these WDF tournaments. But Derek Coulson, despite the disappointment of losing the opening leg, is really now forging ahead once again.
Derek, you require 81.
Down to 81 in 9. Potential 11 dart leg. If he can find the treble 19.
Double 10,
71.
not to beat.
Martin,
and so Turner comes back for 164. To a certain extent, this is a bit of a freebie for Martin. It is on the Derek darts.
44. Derek, you require
Did do the hard
10.
work of getting the break he needed in leg 1. He's going to have to find another one at some point, but it doesn't look like it's going to be in this leg. Coulson double 5. But it doesn't go, and Turner's going to get a chance here at the 120.
6.
He's only had the 110 in this
Martin,
match.
you require 120.
Yeah, just needs to slide across, just the angle. Can't find another one in there.
60. Derek, you require 4.
So Coulson down for double 2 to make it 2-1 and to go in front for the first time in this contest. Well, his darts go in. That may not be too bad. It was the perfect guy just to nestle one, float one over the top. And Derek Coulson takes the lead for the first time in this match.
Fourth leg, it's Martin to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, when the pair met yesterday, it was a 4-0 victory for Derek Coulson. Derek averaging just under 94. It really was a bit of a demolition job, actually. Looking at the stats, just the one chance of Martin Turner at a double. So already doing better than what he did yesterday.
96.
Yeah, still just had one chance tonight, but at least he's taken the chance. And that was off the back of a 110. But sometimes that's the slim pickings that you're afforded against this man.
$140.
Well, that is the 7th two-treble visit that Derek Coulson's had. His 6th 140 in this contest.
85.
Yeah, and a bit of a slip there with the last for Martin Turner. Denies him that opportunity of coming back with a finish.
$57.
But Derek Coulson not able to find a treble himself or make the most of it.
95.
A return for a 2-1 after 12. On throw. Coulson looking to set up. And it'd be so typical of DC here if he was to find a 2 treble visit.
100.
Nothing
Martin, you
comical about his
require
nickname.
81.
And it has been a bit of a storybook year for him.
55.
And he
Derek, you
could
require
maybe
108.
turn the page on this leg if he can find the 108.
Good first. Double 14.
94. Martin,
Goes
you require
inside.
26.
Neither player on what you would call traditional
Action on
doubles,
the
but it
fourth
doesn't matter
leg.
as Martin
Martin
Turner
Turner.
squeezes it into the bottom corner.
Precariously close to
Fifth
going the
leg,
wrong
it's Derek
side,
to
but
throw
it doesn't
first.
matter because it's in. And we're 11
Game
at 2 apiece. So perhaps a side for lead because Martin Turner dominated that previous leg, but he would have felt that Derek Coulson was breathing very heavily down his neck.
100. $57.
Yeah, Martin Turner did find a way to break Coulson, but that break straight back means Martin Turner's going to have to do it once again if he's got any chance of winning this encounter.
60. $81.
And these are the types of scenarios when a game is tight, it just begins to hit a proverbial brick wall where Derek is able just to wrestle the situation back into his favour. That 140 there
140.
forces the issue of Martin Turner. It forces him to go with Derek.
59.
Yeah, and he's not able to, and that last 140 marks a 7th 140 of the match for Coulson. We often obviously hold 180s at that kind of pinnacle. It's the perfect score, but 140s, if you can hit them at the
93.
regularity that Coulson does, they're going to win your matches more times than not.
Just constantly chipping away in a
60.
leg.
Derek, you require 108.
He's been threatening a finish like this.
Yeah, missed it in the last. We know his MO, he'll stay there. Another attempt at double 14 for the 108, and this time it
Gage on
does
the
go,
fifth
and
leg.
Derek Coulson
Derek
now one
Coulson.
leg away from the match.
What's they say about practice making perfect, and for Derek Coulson,
Sixth leg, it's
exactly
Martin
the
to
case
throw
on the
first.
108.
Well, I was going to
Game
go
on.
with try again.
$140.
Martin Turner's going to have to try and win the last 2 legs of this contest. If he doesn't, then he gets sucked back into the mix, and he will have Kevin Edwards and John Worsley for company on 4 points, regardless of what happens in the next match if he loses this one. Because they go toe-to-toe in game number 4. And Derek Coulson now looking to shut this game off, bolt the door shut once and for all. His first maximum of the match.
96.
Gives himself an advantage, gives himself a lead against the throw.
Yeah, it's that awkward.
60.
Yeah, tried to lift one over the top and couldn't quite find the mark.
$76.
Yeah, a bit of a stand back, a really kind of hefty bounce out from the board then. But what that has done by not hitting a 19 or a treble has left him languishing on 189.
It's
55.
allowed Coulson, or it did allow Coulson the opportunity to really manoeuvre, but he was unable to take advantage of that chance. And so, no real damage done for Martin. 6 starts at 189.
97.
Needed a pick off a treble with the last start. He does so to leave himself on a 2-darter after 12.
$58. Martin, you require 92.
Well, Turner's forced the issue. This to take us all the way. Treble 12 leads double 18. 36 or 36.
74. Derek, you
Unable to
require
get.
148.
Had taken out the 108 in the previous leg. Can Derek Coulson find the 148? And it'll keep up his winning streak. It'll be 6 in a row for DC. But Turner's going to come back to take us all the way.
Yeah, if Coulson is going to make it
58.
6 from 6,
Martin, you require
he will
18.
have to wait. And Turner
Action on
levels
the
it up
sick
at
leg.
3
Martin
apiece, and
Turner.
we are at the sudden death leg.
Huge leg, seismic
7
leg.
from final leg.
If Coulson
It's
can win
Derek to
it,
throw
then
first. Game on.
it means that Martin Turner is bang in the mix with Kevin Edwards and John Worsley. But if Martin Turner can win this leg, all of a sudden, there'll be a feeling there's a bit of daylight
22.
between 2nd and 3rd, and then 4th and 5th, because Whitehead and Turner will both be on 6 points. Edwards and Worsley will be left
6.
stranded on 2 points apiece, and you'd feel like game 4 effectively the loser of it, even though mathematically they would still have a chance. You'd sense that they're probably going to be out of the equation.
Yeah, Derek Coulson then opened up that leg with just 22 points. Martin Turner couldn't find a treble to take full advantage, but
100.
a little bit of frustration coming in from Derek Coulson.
97.
Probably felt like he should have had this game wrapped up and done, but you have to commend Martin Turner for hanging on in there and just taking those chances when they presented.
2 players who are
96.
trying to draw blood from stones at this present moment in time. Trying to grind out every last granule from one another.
58.
Well, there's a mental image for you at 11 o'clock on a Friday night.
Oh, but this is looking good from Coulson.
140.
Has to settle for an 8th 180 instead of another max. But all the onus back on Turner to try and
78.
stay in touch.
Derek, you require 143.
He's unable to do so. And so Coulson's got 6 here from 143. I'm going to take it out this time. Can he find a treble here?
59.
Cannot pick that apart. Leaves himself on a 2 darter. He may only get potentially a dart at the ball from the 6 darts he had.
Yeah, but what kind of pressure, if any, will he be under?
28.
Yeah, disappointing
Derek,
there
you
for
require
Turner.
84.
Still 6 for Coulson.
Must feel like it's fallen apart for Martin Turner. He shakes his head. He picks his nose, but it could be Coulson that picks up another win. Double 8. Well, they say there's bogey players at the Super Series, and for Martin Turner, Derek Coulson is exactly that. Lost yesterday 4-0 to him, and the game just slid away towards the end for him. Coulson standing firm, sealing a 4-3 success, and that for him is yet another win. It's 6-6, and that's a typical Derek Coulson performance, a 91 average. Decent on the doubling. Coming up next, it's John Worsley against Kevin Edwards. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Before the break, Derek Coulson got the better of Martin Turner by 4-0. That was such a typical DC performance. An average of 91, 40% on his doubles, 108 checkout amongst the mix. And he is now 6-6, 12 points to his name. Next up for us, it is a meeting between Jonathan Worsley and Kevin Edwards. It's match number 4 of the night. And the loser of this one is in big, big trouble. They can mathematically make it through, but if we're being realistic, they'll both know they lose this game. They are probably heading for home come the end of the evening session. For John Worsley, he has never failed to qualify for a Saturday night at the Super Series, whether it be a regular week, whether it be a Champions Week in the past. But that unblemished record is under severe threat of ending for Kevin Edwards. He's hoping to give himself some hope of keeping up his 100% records. Actually, in excess of 2 years since his previous appearance here. He played as part of, at the time, a World Seniors Invitation Week. Now, there were 2 weeks over January in 2023 where the World Seniors were just beginning their tour, and they were looking to bolster it, and they were looking to bolster the numbers, bolster the players that are in it. And so the players that were initially at the top of those orders of merit were given 4-week invitations to play at the Super Series. Kevin was one of those players. He got invited into a Group B, actually, that week. He would make it through to the semi-finals on that particular occasion.
84.
Where European Series 2 Week 11 was actually a week that Neil Duff came runner-up in. Johnny Haynes won that week. The other semi-finalist, Mark Lawrence.
85.
And he was in a field alongside the likes of Paul Inwood, Mark McGeaney. Adam Litscombe wasn't a World Seniors qualified player. Terry Jenkins, Tony O'Shea, Darryl Fitton, Vince Tipple. And who can forget Richard Stride?
39.
Yeah, arguably been a difficult week for both. Just seem to struggle at times in terms of how they've done throughout the week, both being in the Group A campaign at the beginning of the week, and it was Edwards that actually got the initial win over Worsley in a match that went the distance. The last 3 fixtures
41.
have all gone the way of Worsley's, and yesterday's in Group B, it was a 4-3. It was a tightly fought battle between the pair, but it was Worsley who actually, looking at the stats, averaged 14 points lower than Kevin Edwards, but still managed a 4-3 win. And that is just evidence that Kevin Edwards demonstrating those levels, however, just not doing it consistently enough.
Not finding the key stuff when he needed it the most. The irony is, you look at every single part of the stat sheet there, and you would think that Kevin Edwards would have comprehensively outplayed his opponent. Better average, more 180s, highest checkout.
100.
But John Worsley's also made of stern stuff. Even though this week hasn't quite gone to plan for him, one thing we know he will do is draw out every single fibre, draw out everything. And even if it isn't at his tips or he's not at his tip-top best, he will try if he can to make something happen. But that's been the problem. It hasn't been happening on a consistent basis this week. There's been glimmers, there's been moments, but they haven't then been backed up thereafter.
No, I mean, obviously he did more than enough in Group A to qualify into Group B, which put him in the top 3. But that defeat that he's already suffered tonight, that 4-0 defeat against Conan Whitehead, has now left him languishing at the bottom. Kevin Edwards, 52. By virtue of leg difference, has jumped over him.
So, double 16 for Kevin Edwards, breaker foe to kick off this match. Wasn't the most spectacular leg, but he'll be happy enough it's in his leisure nonetheless.
Second leg, it's Kevin to throw first. Game on.
As for Kevin, he played at the World Seniors Championship at the Circus Tavern back in February. Didn't quite go to plan for him. 3-2 defeat to Michael Huntley of Wales. would then go on to
30.
lose to Leonard Gates in the next round of that particular competition. But for Kevin, did well on the seniors tour last year, and that really was, to put it in football terms,
140.
that was his day out, his real reward for playing so well on that circuit in 2024.
And he's backing up that opening break and playing well here in the second,
81.
taking a pretty comprehensive lead here.
26. $42.
Now desperately seeking out a treble, but can only find 2 single fives, and a little bit of exasperation on the face of Kevin Edwards,
70.
but finds that treble, but there was nothing more he could do after scoring just 10 points with 2 darts, and leaves himself on a bogey number.
For Worsley, it's
26.
just not happened at all in this contest, and it has allowed Kevin Edwards the opportunity, despite himself not getting to the levels we know he's capable of, just to breeze through the opening couple of legs.
95.
Leaves himself on 70, and he is going to get plenty of time to take it out. He's going to get at least 6. There's a possibility he may even get 9 from this point.
60. Kevin, you require 70.
52 left, so single 20 for double 16.
Game shot on a
I will
second
say
leg,
finishing
Kevin Edwards.
this leg for Kevin Edwards, very good. 2 from 2 on the outer ring, and he's 2 to the good.
Third leg, it's
Just
John
do what he has to do.
first. Game on.
Worsley's not really been able to push and probe in this contest.
$56.
Game number 4 of the night. Next up after this, Martin
59.
Turner, Conan Whitehead. So by the end of this game, we'll know the picture quite nicely in terms of how this group's going to be. The winner of this one will be on 4 points. The winner of the next particular match, particularly if it's Conan, will be in a very fortuitous position. Whitehead
77.
wins the next game, regardless of the outcome of this one. Although it's looking more and more likely that Kevin Edwards is going to cross the finishing post. Would have a 4-point buffer on 3rd, 4th, and will be mathematically safe for
100.
5th.
Yeah, next few games feel imperative for a few certain players.
99.
John Worsley just trying to make any indent, any inroads into this match.
100. $59.
Well, neither player really pushing the right buttons in this contest thus far.
66.
But they both hope it will click at some point.
Yeah, I agree. It just feels a little bit flat. And we know, and we've said both these players will be throwing absolutely everything at it. But this is day number 5 of their time here at the Super Series, and we did see early on in Group C the players that have come through from Group A just struggling that little bit more than the ones that are coming in fresh.
First chance I can remember Worsley having in this contest. Well, I'll tell you what, he could go from nowhere to everywhere here, Jonathan Worsley. If he can, well, double 18.
130.
would have been the call, but he's gone for double 16. He's miscounted. He's realised the error of his ways. He cannot quite believe it.
I mean, it was an exceptional 130 finish. But yeah, that's all you can do in that situation is stand behind and smile. But Kevin Edwards, how much he'd like to take advantage of the situation.
51.
That would have added insult to the injury for John Worsley. Not just would he have miscounted, but he would have been punished directly for it.
And that's when you know that a player's not quite playing to the levels that you'd expect from them. Because that 54, absolutely plump.
15. Kevin,
and it's what it does to your mind as a player as well when you do go for the wrong one, especially when you hit it. We saw it a little while back with Ross Montgomery going for the wrong double, getting it, celebrating,
third leg,
and then realising, he'd miscounted himself.
Yeah, I'll never forget the way that he then looked and traverted towards the hockey. It looked like a scene out of a Scooby-Doo thing. You know when the whole gang are pressing towards the villain at the end of the episode?
I just like the fact that if anyone was sat in comms with me, you're actually doing the actions. But yeah, I do remember. It was very funny. I mean, it was funny for us. It wasn't funny for Ross. He saw the funny side in the end, I think.
I think when he won the World Seniors, I think he quickly forgotten about that moment.
Yeah, all things are forgiven.
The winner of this game will move on to 4 points, level with Martin
81.
Turner in the Group B table, ahead of his meeting with Conan Whitehead up next. The winner of this game has still got a very good chance of making it through. The loser of this game is pretty much out of the offing.
140. $97.
Yeah, good switch. Kevin Edwards just looking to see off this match on this leg.
56.
Six starts from 183 for Kevin Edwards to cross the line in this fourth game of the evening session.
95.
And in fairness to Kevin, it's been a game which in the first couple of legs was a little bit scrappy, but he's just managed towards the finishing line, just find maybe a little bit of a better level, maybe found his best leg.
50.
As he closes out
Kevin,
this
you
match, he's
require
left himself
88.
an 88 after 12, and he's got 6 starts from this point to close it out.
Doesn't need to go 18s, no, sensible, but off target. Saw the plan, so 13s.
38.
Leaves him on 50, and I imagine when he comes back, that'll be something he'll split. Not quite Conan-esque going straight for it, but who knows?
Yeah, I get the sense he might be going 10 or 18 here.
81.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Kevin, you require 50.
Well, take your pick, Kev. And the pick is double 16.
18.
2 well-thrown darts,
John, you
but
require 140.
yes, they were close to the wire, but neither could find a way in.
All right, single 14. Now that's tops. Tops left, John. Yeah,
And
this
John,
time
full
finds
flag,
the
John
topper.
Worsley.
Just to extend the game, we are now 3-1, but it is John Worsley with the throw, and I
Fifth
just
flag
wonder
is
how
John
much
to
he
the
made
right
room
first.
miscounting on that
Game on.
150.
Well, it's his second ton plus checkout of this match, but the first one taken out mathematically correct.
$95.
And the way that the pair are playing in this contest, all John Worsley has to do is pick off a couple of decent legs. He could find himself back to within 3-3 before too long.
Yeah, I agree. We saw it quite a lot this
57.
afternoon in the Group C group, and we had a few people running away with it. 3-1 up, 3-0 up, just to be clawed back. And as soon as you've got that sudden death leg, it's you get the feeling, and especially some of these edgier games, it is
59.
absolutely anyone's.
I saw it from Lloyd Walker, didn't we? Had some big leads and then let it slip, particularly in that match against Charlie Manby, where it all could have been so
60.
different. We're going to see Charlie there tomorrow night in the finals. We're going to see Neil Duff there. We're going to see Aaron Turner there tomorrow. And we're also going to see Derek Coulson there. He qualified in game 1 of the night session, and he did so with some considerable ease.
119.
And John Worsley is just beginning to find something. It's still nowhere near his best, but he's finding a level now which is becoming far more competitive than it was in the first 3 legs or so.
Yeah, he's just giving Kevin Edwards something to think about. Edwards just wasn't really being challenged in those opening few legs. Now, John Worsley is rallying.
140.
From what depths he's finding it from, I don't quite know, but John Worsley's beginning to find something.
100. John, you
He's got 6 here
88.
to bring it back to within 1. Edwards will get a second opportunity to serve the match out, but it'd be under more pressure. But he's got to get this job done first.
60.
Hasn't got it done yet, but he has got time.
Yeah, Edwards will just want bring that score down to something a bit more attainable. Treble 20
6.
would have been ideal, and
required 28.
not as much pressure on this 28 as he'd have liked. But wow, Worsley, shake of the head there, pulls it into the 11. So 17 has to burn a dart here.
Double 8. And we are back to 3-2. Kevin Edwards will throw for the match again, but this time he throws for the match with John Worsley hot on his coattails.
Game on.
That leisurely cushion is being whittled away leg by leg.
100.
A bit of a confused look there from Kevin Edwards, but clattered into the 2 darts in the ball with the third, so it kind of flew up slightly higher than he thought.
81. $140. 81.
Yeah, how much Kevin Edwards would want a 1 or 2 treble visit right now.
60.
Well, Edwards has control, but we've seen a few signs from Worsley that he's just starting to find
59.
Find a few bigger scores, just being able to put on that pressure, but not there.
Well, the problem that John Worsley's got, yes, he's found it, but because he's found it so late, any other lapse in concentration could spell the end of it.
105.
And Edwards is just beginning to shut the game, just beginning to find a second wind. And John Worsley could be caught up in the tailwind of it. 96 left
60.
after just 12.
Kevin, you
And he's got time
96.
and space to wrap this match up, to move on to 4 points, to give himself some hope in terms of qualifying through. Treble 19 leaves the double.
Game
Gets
shot
it and
the match,
recovers well
Kevin Edwards.
from not just a poor start in his first game, but from that particular first start in his last visit of that match. Kevin Edwards moves on to 4 points. He gives himself an opportunity. He's now level on points with Martin Turner in third position. The flatliner is beginning to trend upwards. A 4-2 victory for Kevin Edwards against John Worsley. A big game in the race for P2 and P3 next, as Martin Turner takes on Conan Whitehead. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series
9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Lewandowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's true. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler!
Back, plenty coming up here at the Modus Super Series on Pluto TV. Coming up next, after we're done, the WADC Championship Tour final. Fallon Sherrick up against Gemma Hayes. It was a packed out crowd here at the live lounge in Portsmouth for that one, and it was quite the fitting finale to the season. You can watch that up next. And then the live darts will be back with the Week 7 finals night, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night, just about tomorrow night at this, 11:30 in the evening here in Portsmouth. That will be with you for your Saturday night tungsten fun here at the live lounge in Portsmouth. But tonight's action, it's a Game 5, a meeting between Martin Turner and Conan Whitehead. A victory here for the Barbarian would be enough to qualify him to Saturday's finale. That is by virtue of the fact that Turner and Edwards have to play one another, so both would not be able to catch him by that particular logic. But if Martin Turner was able to cross the whitewash here, then the cats and the pigeons would be put amongst one another, and that's usually quite a messy affair.
Yeah, it does feel like, well, it is one of those matches that really
First leg, it's
could either define the table or, as you say, make it
Game
really
on.
still rather open. I mean, the fixture between these two yesterday did go the way of Conan Whitehead. But what I was impressed with Conan and actually with Martin, compared to the stats and what they were posting yesterday, much improved in their performances today. Turner was unlucky, lost 4-3 in his match against Derek Coulson.
45.
Whitehead, standout performance of the evening so far, just shy of a 97 average 4 from 7 on the doubles, around 60%, but a 4-0 victory over John Worsley.
$125.
And I think both will be very much aware of
81.
how much could be riding on this particular match.
Well, particularly Conan, because he's the type that's been here enough that will probably know that particular permutation. Or if he doesn't know he's going to be exactly 100% through, he'll know he's pretty much as good as through if he wins this particular contest. And there's been a different look and a different feel about Conan tonight. Came out the trap strongly. Business head on from the start. And he's finding that treble 20 with more regularity than he did at any point last night.
134.
Treble 14 leaves double 16, and that's a 1-3-4 for Martin Turner, and that will hurt Conan Whitehead. Good sportsmanship, but yeah, that raise of the eyebrows from Conan, who hit the 171 to leave himself on a double. And from that position, you do kind of expect that you should be coming back.
Well, he kicked off his first match, didn't he, with the 110. Kicks off this one with the 1-3-4. Be hoping for a better outcome. Lost out 4-3 to DC. Derek Coulson in match number 3.
98.
Conan, who spends a bit of his time away from the hockey. Well, I mean, quite literally away from the hockey on this stage. Staring down the barrel of the side camera that we have to the stage.
100.
I suppose every player has that part, don't they? Particularly when they play stage matches where they head to just to focus on. Well,
60.
For Conan Whitehead, it's straight down the barrel of what we like to call the side cam.
57.
Yeah, it's normally quite an intense look as well when Conan stares down the camera. Doesn't break character. It's meaningful.
96.
Put it this way, it makes you want to look away because you don't really want to be stared down by Conan Whitehead. It's quite frightening. But he is an absolute BFG, big friendly giant off the hockey.
$140.
Yeah, more good setup play by Conan Whitehead, and this time he knows he will be back because Martin Turner looking to do something similar or better. Oh,
120.
and that was unfortunate. It
68.
was an in-out.
The biggest problem Martin Turner has is when he has
52.
a deflection, a ricochet, a bounce out, they're going to be violent because the way his darts go in, the way he throws them, everything about it screams nuisance if there's something in the way. But there's no nuisance about that. There's no messing about with that. Conan Whitehead counting his darts.
Third
And
leg.
Martin Turner perhaps will be counting up the points before too long because he has a 2-0 lead. 2 from 2 on the doubles. He picked apart the 1-3-4 in the first leg, the 68 in the second. He's in a comfortable position.
30.
And Conan Whitehead, who got off to such a good start earlier on this evening, is playing to a similar level, but is getting absolutely no success so far.
81.
He just had that one chance at double so far. I wouldn't say Conan Whitehead will be particularly concerned, but just looks a bit perturbed at the fact that he feels that he's playing well, especially at that business end of legs and just not getting any chances because Martin Turner, we said about the 1-3-4, but backed it up with the 68 as well.
After dart 1 went in, there was a collective feeling that that was going to be a 180. There was going to be no other outcome. When that first dart hits the top part of the treble bed, it screams max. It looks max. It feels max. And it is shouted max by Jack Garwood.
Yeah, and that is a max for Martin Turner in response.
It's a busy max night tonight here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
100.
Turner coming back for 93 to open up a 3-zip advantage.
Can he add the 93 to the finish? And that's a great first. Double 18.
Game shot on the third
Wow.
leg. Martin Turner.
Wasn't dart perfect, but was a visit perfect. And that raise of the arms there from Conan and a smile. What more does he
Full
have to
flag,
do,
it's
I
Conan
think,
to
is
the
what he's
reverse.
thinking. But
Game on.
yeah, when you've got finishing at the level that you're seeing in this match from Martin Turner, yeah, it's hard.
Well, he's averaging 98 or just a shade under 98.
41.
And that's only been good enough for one dart at a double in this contest. Martin Turner doing a superb job here.
85.
Picked off the 1-3-4 to take the first leg. It was a clinical combination to win leg 2, a 93 to win leg 3.
60.
He's picking apart combination finishes, and that's been the major difference, restricting opportunities for his opponent.
45.
Plenty of room left in the bed, but
98.
opts to switch. 59 only there, scored by Turner. Is this the opportunity Whitehead's looking for to just shake him off?
42.
Chance will be nice is probably what he's thinking, but it has been a glimmer of an opportunity in this leg. But the truth be told, neither player in leg 4 have up to press scored as serenely as they had done in the 3 prior. Turner picking off a ton, forcing the issue of Whitehead, who comes back with a ton himself. But Turner will feel like he has got 6 on 2-1-2 in most likelihood to get the job done here, but needs to pick off a treble with the last. Can't do so. The ball's back in Conan's court.
106.
Yeah, I imagine Conan thought that on occasion, but there's one. Just the wrong side of the treble 20 bed, and
90.
can't quite
Martin
tidy it up.
154.
Well, this would be some way to wrap it up. He kickstarted the game with the 1-3-4. He's not going to end it with the 1-5-4. And so
58.
Whitehead comes back.
You require
Looking at
70.
70 to continue this game. He's going to get 2 at double 8. It's only his second dart to the double in this contest.
54.
The cry of Co.
Martin,
And he'll
you
be thinking,
require
oh no,
96.
as Turner comes back looking at 96.
Double 18, across for double 9,
Sure,
and
and
it
the match,
is a doubling
Martin Turner.
masterclass for Martin Turner, beating Conan Whitehead 4-0. Conan straight off the stage, not happy, and a kiss to the camera from Martin Turner. I'm safe to say I think he really did enjoy that victory, and why not? There you see the averages dropped off at the end, both around the same, but 4 from 6 on the amateur ring, including that massive 1-3-4 for Turner. Really has put everyone amongst the mix. Do join us next, Coulson versus Worsley.
Charlie McGuire, 164. 44. 32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
Yoki with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think he's gone to bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust. And
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
requires
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go!
Couldn't get the job
Yes!
done.
Got in the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we are midway through the night session here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. This is what we've seen so far. For Derek Coulson, he's won both of his matches. He's continued his domination at the top of the group, but it looks very congested now in terms of the race to qualify, particularly after that 4-0 victory for Martin Turner before the break against Conan Whitehead. It means the table looks as follows. Derek Coulson, 12 points to his name. He's safely through. But having missed out on securing qualification in the previous match, it is now possible that Conan Whitehead could get to 8 points and still not go through. And that is because of the meetings that are to come. Martin Turner does take on Kevin Edwards as the evening comes to a close. Conan's got a couple more matches to go. And Martin would actually qualify for a win over Kevin Edwards in Game 7. Jonathan Worsley here could be eliminated if Derek Coulson gets the better of him. And if Derek can win this one, he puts himself within a game of winning all 8 games in a group campaign, which seldom happens in a group B. In fact, it seldom happens in any group. Like the Super C. If any group it is like, it actually is the Group B, but it happens on around about a handful of occasions here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. But for John Worsley, he got out the gate too late, really, didn't he, against Kevin Edwards in his previous match. Edwards raced into a 3-0 lead. Worsley showed some signs of recovery in that contest, but perhaps just ran out of steam as the game came to a close. Kevin Edwards found a second wind and was able to win that contest. But he's going to have to be at his very best from first start to last if he's going to get any joy here against Derek Coulson.
First leg, it's Derek to throw first.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Game on.
their meeting yesterday probably relatively fresh in the mind of John Worsley because it was Derek Coulson's best performance, 98.5 and some change. 96 for John Worsley, 3 maximums in there as well. And I think he's going to have to find something still on top of that. And for me, John Worsley just hasn't quite been able to produce those kind of levels tonight.
60.
For Derek, so far tonight, well, it's just been typical running for him, hasn't it? Averages of 88.07 and 91 on the nose, 40% on his doubles in both of the matches that he's played this evening.
83.
Yeah, really have had differing campaigns in Group B. Everything relatively plain sailing for Coulson. It just feels like a bit of a slog for John Worsley up on the hockey. As we mentioned before, every time Worsley's been at the Super Series, he's never failed to make it through to a finals night and is in real jeopardy. And when you're in that position, I would imagine the last person you're going to want to face is the guy sat comfortably
81.
at the top of the table, not having dropped a single game so far in Group B.
And Coulson here in a comfortable position in this first leg. 6 starts from 2-2-1 to get the first leg
85.
on the board. It was a slow start that cost Worsley, as we mentioned in his previous match, and he hasn't been able to make a
81.
sizable
Derek, you require
indent into the opening leg of this
136.
one. And so Coulson's been afforded the luxury of time. He's been afforded 6 on 136 to take leg 1. I mean, you only need the 3. Double 8. And it was almost demolished by
120.
Derek. Who's doing a demolition job on this group so far. Has hardly broken sweat. Just playing at his normal level. And it has just been too good
Derek, you
for
require
anybody else.
16.
It's shaping up to look like an interesting field going into tomorrow's finals.
Game shot on the first leg.
And that is
Derek
the first leg.
Coulson.
Goes the way of DC.
And it comes as no surprise.
Second leg. it's
Comes as
Johnson
no
going first.
surprise whatsoever.
Game on.
He's like, you know when you play on an app and you've got the computer level
100.
and you go up to a certain level on a computer, and when you get to said level on that computer game, you know they're always going to average in around that. Derek Coulson is effectively that. You just know that he's going to play around this decent range and he's going to cause you all sorts of problems.
So if he was a DC character, he'd be that kind of robotic type, the robotic type character.
I'm no good with DC Marvel
30.
comics and all of that like. But we can marvel in his excellence. Are we going to marvel in perfection? No, we're not. But I suppose if he's going to be a comic book character, you'd probably call him
140.
Consistency Man.
DC, Dr. Consistent.
Yeah, that's a bit better. That's the second superhero name I've given to a player, and somehow that was worse than the first one.
121.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, it's a close call, let's be honest.
It's a very low barometer. And I'll be
45.
honest, I don't mind if Sam Spivey hates me because I probably deserve it.
Well, the fact that you mention your invented nickname at every possible time, I think you've mentioned it maybe 4 times today.
100. Derek, you require 136.
You're so tempted to do it again right now, aren't you? It's just holding it in.
I would never mention the name Spivey Man 5 times on the same broadcast. Worsley looking at 150 to level up at 1 apiece. He's going to have to take it out because Coulson has left himself on tops after 12. A typically Coulson leg. Now, this was the finish, remember, in the previous match, which he took out 130. He miscounted on. Once bitten, twice shy.
Derek, you require
But Coulson to double up. Looks a double top. Double 10. 5s, and Worsley back on 52 if it doesn't go. For last start at hand, Coulson comes up clutch, 2-0.
Yeah, and it was a better leg for Worsley. He was there ready to pounce, but Derek Coulson doing what he does and denying John the opportunity to even have a go.
$140.
Average here, just under 98. 2-0 to the good. And to be fair to John Worsley, he's actually raised it compared to some of the levels we've seen from him this evening. We said he had to up the levels from game 2. He has done it. Still not been enough.
Two in, looking for a third.
140.
That visit there just tips Derek Coulson over the 100 average mark.
85.
What would be your superhero name? What's your hidden superpower, Henry?
93.
Anyone out there that answers into Twitter?
Tumbleweed man.
Tumbleweed man.
83.
As one
Derek,
just
you
goes
require
past.
128.
128 for DC himself. He's got 6 from here, and he's going to need the full quota.
60.
I've been told to shut up, man, a few times.
55.
I don't think that
Derek,
was
you
a
require
kind of
68.
a nod to a superhero name.
I got that drift. 4 for free zip. 15
Game's on the
darter,
third
3-0.
leg. Derek Coulson.
Coulson averaging 96. It's just normal, par for the course, par excellence for the Welshman.
4th leg. It's John to throw first. Game on.
As for John Worsley, it's been a chastening experience this week. And if he loses this leg, then for the first time in his Super Series career, he is not
140.
going to make it through to a Saturday. He was quoted as the second favourite to win this week before a dart was thrown. And so it'll be a bitter pill for him to swallow if he isn't to qualify through
97.
come the end of play tonight.
We have seen it with players before, and sometimes they can come back at another occasion and just be that little bit more hungry for it because they don't want to find themselves in a similar situation.
33.
And that is one of the biggest facets of his game. That 2 treble scoring, it's a huge weapon in his arsenal.
100.
Yeah, would like something similar here.
$140.
And just backing up what you said there, Henry. 2 treble visit down to 124 after 9. Match winning chances coming here for Derek Coulson.
85. Derek, you
Well,
require
this is actually turning into his
124.
best performance of the lot. And for John Worsley, he's on the cusp of elimination. And for Derek Coulson, he's a bullseye away from 7
99.
wins out
John,
of
you
7.
require 143.
Worsley gets a stay of execution, but he has to find the 143.
Yeah, did find that 114 in the match before, but not going to add the 143 to it. So you feel this is
52.
Derek
Derek,
Coulson's
you
now
require
for the taking.
25.
9 for double 8. Or how about 5 double 10 instead?
Game shot
And how
and the
about
match,
win
Derek
number
Coulson.
7 for Derek Coulson? And for the first time in the Modus Super Series, John Worsley fails to qualify for a Saturday night. And that man there has been too good. He's staring down the opposition. He's been too good for the opposition as Derek Coulson. 7 wins from 7 matches, and that is best performance to date. An average of 98.56, 4 from 10 on his doubles, and he's a match away from completing the full card on both nights. Martin Turner and Kevin Edwards follows next.
reverse. She's gone the 48 for 24, double 12.
Game shot and the match. He has that second weekly title. Because it's glory for Yorkshire on the stage for Crawley.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where on Monday week 8 is going to get underway. And you have a look at that Group A, and that looks quick fire and fun, doesn't it? Romeo Gerbavach is back. Chris Quantock, Graham Mush and Devon Peterson. That's going to be a really pacey affair. Group B, Andreas Harrison and Jim McEwen, 2 former champions in the field. Group C, Johnny Haynes, the quick fire Swindon ace, alongside James Wilson of Huddersfield and Richard McKee making his debut here on the live line. That gets underway Monday the 17th of March, live and exclusive here on Pluto TV. And before we get this next game underway, I just want to say happy Saturday. As he crossed the midnight hour, we are now officially into finals night here on the South Coast. And for one of Kevin Edwards and Martin Thomas, they'll be hoping to be there. There is a possibility both can, but if Martin Turner can win this particular clash, then he will guarantee his spot into the Saturday night show. He will be able to head to the big night. The red carpet will be rolled out, and he'll then be looking for his first win on the Super Series stage and a first Champions Week appearance. Up against Kevin Edwards, who last time out got the better of John Worsley by 4 legs to 2. But for Martin, that 4-0 win against Conan Whitehead has put him in such a good position, a position now where he's a win away from qualifying.
Yeah, it was a real swing victory for Martin Turner in terms of the table, because jumped over Conan Whitehead, absolutely decimated the leg difference that Whitehead built up in that first victory. The 4-0 victory over John Worsley was basically zeroed out by the 4-0 loss against Martin Turner.
100.
Who looks fairly psyched up for this clash, does the Mutts Nuts.
For anyone just joining us, that is Martin Turner's nickname.
140.
Out of context, Henry Deacon. Need we say any more? Anyway, Turner leaves himself for 161 to take the opening leg, and he has got 6 darts to do exactly that.
90.
Yeah, once again, good last from Martin Turner. And that was a real element of his match against Whitehead that he used so effectively, those set-up shots. Because Conan Whitehead probably scratching his head at how he lost 4-0, because he was always there, ready on a double. But Turner just denied him. Looks like he could be denying once again. 8-8, the target
55.
Doesn't go, but has time.
A player for time, because Edwards has kicked off slowly. Now, he's playing towards a similar level he did in his last match against John Worsley, which was enough. But Martin Turner played all right against Conan Whitehead. He was forced to play well in that 4-0 win. And he's got off to a quick start here. But if he doesn't find double 2,
12.
Edwards is back here to take a 1-0 lead. Now, is it double 19 or is it a split? It's straight for double 19. It doesn't go.
Yeah, over now to 8-8.
22. Martin, you require 4.
So 5 already missed in this leg for Turner. Has 3 more. Just needs the 2.
And Martin Turner
survives a bit of a scare there, because that was a leg that Turner was very much in control of and allowed Kevin Edwards in.
Second leg, it's Kevin to throw first. Game on.
Survives the scare. He goes 1 up. 3 more legs away from becoming the second player to qualify for
85.
Derek Coulson got the job done in game 1 of the night against Kevin Edwards. There is a possibility that the first 2 players qualify at the expense of Kevin Edwards.
100.
And having a look at what's to come later on this evening, Kevin plays Conan Whitehead in the last. So there's a possibility that that could be a straight shootout to determine the final spot. Although if Kevin does lose this
95.
one, then Conan would have the chance to go through in the next. Only problem he's got is he's playing Derek Coulson, who's going to win 8 from 8, or is looking to win 8 from 8.
Was that a bit of a prediction there from you, Henry?
Well, I realised as soon as I said going to an 8 for me, it actually sounds as if he was going to do it instead of what I was...
He's going for it.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it. We have, we have been at it this all day. The odd slip here and there is going to happen.
We've been in this commentary box now for 11 hours.
And somehow it feels longer.
45.
Nothing to separate him in the scores, but it is Kevin Edwards who threw first. So
140.
again, great setup play from Martin Turner, and he'll be looking to see off this leg slightly more efficiently than he did the last.
Yeah, no issues whatsoever in terms of the scoring prowess in this contest.
Martin, you require 36.
Looking for the break. But he's missed 9 darts and a double in this contest.
53.
He should really be shutting the door for Kevin Edwards. But he's getting chances to win legs despite being on the back foot. There's 2 darts and a double to win leg 1, but he's going to pick apart the tops to pick up leg 2.
Third leg.
Consequently, we're back level at 1 apiece.
Game on.
But Turner will feel like he's missed a major opening to get the break and to really take control of this
44.
match.
Because there was a patch in that win that Kevin Edwards got over John Worsley where really did start finding that the big scores.
59.
If he can do something like that here against Martin Turner, that could be a real shift in this match, and it would mean that you've got
100.
3 players on 6 points going into the final 3 matches.
And then we really are going to need the abacus. We'll have to dust it off because the last couple of weeks has been fairly routine in this group.
$81.
This is the really strange thing about the format here is you start the first day, obviously for a lot of these players, joining here
41.
yesterday evening, and you've just got all this hope and you're going to keep coming back. And then when it comes right down to the crux, when you've only got a game or 2 left to secure your spot,
60.
Panic can set in. You feel very differently. And there's this new sense of urgency that you have to win because there is no coming back in just a few games' time.
Well, the safety net just gets completely
45.
removed. To a certain extent, the rug gets pulled from underneath you. And suddenly, Martin Turner, who looked so comfortable in this game, he's not careful, could be walking amidst the tungsten tightrope. Needs a couple of trebles here, though, Kevin, to leave himself on a finish.
134.
It's a couple of trebles. He's leaving himself on 162. Turner 180.
140.
He's going to leave himself on tops. And once again, he's going to get 3 clear darts and a double to win a leg in this match. He has needed opportunities.
105. Martin, you require 40.
But a chance he'll get, but Kevin Edwards again, hot on his coattails if he misses.
Game shot on the third leg.
In off,
Martin
huge
Turner.
dart.
Yeah, it was indeed, and I'm sure that'll be nothing but relief there for Turner, who's 2 from 13.
Full
but
flag. It's Kevin to throw first.
that double
Game
10,
on.
yes, it found the target, but it did need to take a little bit of a deflection.
Kind kiss off the barrel and it
6.
finds the intended target. For once, a kind ricochet for Martin Turner. He's had a couple of
55.
quite angry bounce outs in this session. Aggressive bounce outs in this session.
140. $93.
Turner chasing around the board, finds the treble third dart of asking, but this leg very much in the hands of Kevin Edwards.
100. 96.
So Edwards, 6 starts here from 2-1. It's actually the first leg which, in terms of scoring, he's had the better of his opponent.
105.
Picks off that 105 to leave himself on the 2-darter. 96 left after 12.
140. Kevin, you
Turner at
require
140 leaves
96.
himself on 117. Edwards 96 to level up at 2 apiece. Won't be done, and so Turner back for 117.
56.
And this range was where
Martin,
Mike
you
Turner
require
proved to be relatively
117.
dangerous against that in that match against Whitehead. 17 for tops.
97. Kevin, you require 40.
Still, the doubling issues continue for Turner, and
James
Edwards
on a
takes
full
full
flag.
advantage.
Kevin Edwards.
Levels up at 2-2.
All square in a crucial
Fifth flag,
contest.
It's Martin to throw first.
Martin Turner, if he can
Game
find a
on.
couple of holds, will guarantee progression through to Saturday night's final. Whilst
100.
for Kevin, it would put himself in a good position, possibly at the expense of Martin.
$96.
3 more games to go after this one. Coulson, Whitehead, Turner, Worsley, and then Whitehead
97.
against Edwards will finish off the programme of games.
And I don't know about you, but it still feels mightily difficult to confirm who will be the other 2 players to go
60.
through with Derek Coulson.
Yeah, that's the only thing we do know. Derek Coulson's won the group, and
140.
he could win it by winning all 8 matches if he gets the better of Conan Whitehead in game 8 of the evening session. Turner on throw in leg 5 has
60. Martin, you
taken
require
full command of
164.
proceedings, and he's got time and space for the 164 to put himself to within a leg of
44.
qualification through to the finals tomorrow. Hoping Edwards cannot find a couple of trebles here. He's not going to. He's got time for the 120.
60. Martin,
A
you
real
require
yo-yo battle
120.
between the pair. And a bit of a drop dart. Just has to gather himself. It's single for tops. That should be a good marker, but goes
100.
underneath.
Well, the double looked as if it was begging to be hit the way that second dart sat up to attention. But he's going to
81. Martin, you require
come back for the double
20.
10 to open up a 3-2 lead.
Game shot on the 5th flag. Martin Turner.
3-2 to Martin Turner on what has been a good day for Turners
6th flag. It's
here
Kevin
at
to throw
the
first.
Super
Game on.
Series. There's a possibility tomorrow night that my teeny tiny little brain
43.
could be a little bit confused, because Aaron Turner is already through, Martin Turner could qualify through, and Laura Turner's going to be in the commentary box.
57.
Yeah, and also being joined by 2 girls, Neve and Isla Turner. Yeah, it's a Turner Fest. That sounds like a really fun festival. In my mind.
140.
It's definitely getting late, isn't it?
$45.
Webb was looking to complete a turnaround in this contest.
99.
And first step,
140.
close to completion. 6 outs here from 219 to take us all the way to a last leg decider.
99.
Kevin Edwards will be returning for the 120.
99.
Saw Martin
Kevin, you
Turner
require
attempt
120.
this earlier. Couldn't quite find the mark. Good start climbing that ladder. Now it's tops for Edwards for 3-all.
80. Martin, you require 106.
Well, this would be some way to win it. And it would have been some way for Martin Turner to have confirmed his passage through.
100. Kevin, you require
He's left himself in
40.
position if Kevin Edwards misses 3 more at tops.
Just classes on the wire, moves across the oche, trying to get the right angle and just goes inside. So a real
Martin, you require
opportunity for the
60.
match here for Martin Turner.
It's double top.
Game shot.
And Martin
And the
Turner is
Martin
into
Turner.
Saturday night at the Super Series. And it's becoming a bit of a habit now for the Yorkshireman. So many times he had tried valiantly to make it through and he hadn't able to do so due to one reason or another. But now he's done so on a couple of occasions. He's beginning to make it a habit. And he has beaten Kevin Edwards by 4 legs to 2 to seal his place into the finals. It's Conan Whitehead and Derek Coulson on the other side of this short break. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yeah.
Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000.
The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Luke Ledlow! Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we can now confirm Martin Turner through to tomorrow night's final. 8 points is enough for him, and it means it's going to go down to the final game between Conan Whitehead and Kevin Edwards to secure the final passage through to the finale. Derek Coulson stands on the cusp of a completed card on both nights. A win here against Conan Whitehead would mean that he is the perfect man in this Group B. Meanwhile, for Conan Whitehead, He will be through if he wins this match. If not, it will go down to that very last, as I mentioned, against Kevin Edwards. Well, Conan has had a couple of opportunities to see off this group. He was unable to get the better Martin Turner last time. He lost 4-0 in that match to secure his passage through. But now he's got the toughest assignment of them all. The unbeaten Derek Coulson. The ultra-consistent Derek Coulson. The group-winning Derek Coulson.
I will say, though, out of all the competitors and the way they've played in Group B, Conan has produced a game that would stack up to what we've seen from Coulson, but that is not the start he's looking for.
And he knows that Coulson's going to punish him for it.
121.
In terms of perfect groups in a Group B context at the Super Series,
100.
perfect group, 16 points. Scott Williams and Lee Evans back in Southampton. Here, Andy Bolton, Alex Spellman, David Davis, David Evans,
140.
Bo Greaves, with a previously unblemished Group B campaign. Adam Zavada did so earlier on in the series. Van Velzen did it in the Global Championship, but in terms of this competition, in fact, prior to Adam Zavada doing it in week 1,
85.
Bo Greaves was the last player to do it back in the April of 2024. So it's a very, very difficult feat for players to achieve.
38.
Yeah, when you put it
Derek,
into context of how many of
155.
these Super Series there have been, it is quite an exclusive list. Derek Coulson against the throw here in a really good position to find that
58.
early break. And when they played yesterday, it was no surprise. Obviously, Derek Coulson winning as he's trying to go through the card, but it was a 4-1 victory over Conan Whitehead. Whitehead with some real trouble on the outer ring,
Derek,
just
you
1 out of 8.
97.
So if he does get the chances, needs to take them. May not get a chance in the opener.
Gage
And
on the
doesn't.
first
That's a
leg,
clinical
Derek Coulson.
97 finish there by Derek Coulson.
To take one there, to put it into context, there's
Second
probably
leg,
been,
it's Derek to the row first.
give or take, about
Game on.
120 Super Series weeks since we started. Well, since Series 1 Week 1 anyway, back in July 2022. And it's only around about a
60.
handful of players that have been able to achieve that feat. That is how rare it is, and that is how big an achievement it is for a player. Neil Duff broke the
64.
equalised the Group A record earlier on this week. Became the second player in this series to reach the fabled 28-point mark. Richie Howson doing so in week 4.
140.
A group which actually includes a certain Scott Mitchell.
140.
Yeah, we'll be joined by Scott Mitchell back here again. I was going to say tomorrow, but actually it'll be later on today in our little Modus Super Series bubble.
140.
All the days seem to start to mould into one.
Yep. Oh, yep. I thought it was February last week.
44. Derek, you require
Well, Coulson here in
161.
cruise control. It's not really happened at all, has it, for Conan in this contest so far? Derek's just been given all the time that he wants just to manoeuvre
91.
his way into a 2-0 lead. It was a comfortable break in leg 1. It looks like it's going to be backed up with a equally as comfortable hold in leg 2.
60. Derek, you require 70.
So 6 from here for Coulson, who's averaging 107.5 right now.
Gage
2-0.
on the second leg, Derek Coulson.
And 2-0 with comfort, 2-0 with ease, and 2-0 without breaking sweat.
Third leg, it's Conan to the row first. Game on.
Yeah,
81.
Conan starting to look a little bit irritated. Derek Coulson on track at the moment for his highest average of the week. And what a way to finish off a Group B campaign
100.
so far. And I know we're only a couple of legs in, but Whitehead hasn't had an opportunity at the outer ring. And in fairness, when he played, Martin Turner just had the 3 darts.
140.
And it's a far cry from the way that Conan's night began with that performance against John Worth, a 97 average.
100.
And it looks like for him it's all going to go down to the final game against Kevin Edwards.
55.
Not too far away, a couple of games' time. That should be with us at around about 1 o'clock in the morning. So for those of you watching at home, I hope you're enjoying a bumper night of darts, which is going into the early hours on Pluto TV. And then after this, we've got the
75.
WADC darts finals. A recap of what happened there in November last year. So if you're perhaps a bit of a night owl and looking for something to watch, then Pluto TV
81.
and the Super
Conan, you
Series
require
channel is
150.
the perfect place for you. Whitehead's going 3 balls, but he's not going to find the second one.
77. Derek,
I would
you
have made an
require
argument there, the way that he was hitting
120.
just to have stayed where he was and tried to leave tops. A little lift over the top. Well, he got the lift, but he didn't get the line right.
50. Conan, you require 73.
To reduce the gap and to get a foothold. Double
Game
eight
shot on the
brings
third
it back
leg.
to
Conan
2-1.
Whitehead.
Whitehead gets on the board, gets a foothold in the match.
Fourth
But the
leg.
ball's
It's
still
Derek
very
to
much
throw
in the
first.
court of Derek
Game
Coulson
on.
as Whitehead in the background continues to psych himself up.
$140.
Yeah, great start once again by Derek Coulson, that trademark 140.
$81.
Yeah, and I think Conan would be disappointed. That first dart looked really quite inviting for the way his darts land.
Well, that was the reason behind the grunt, wasn't it? Because if Conan was playing at his best, that's a 180 every day of the week. But it hasn't quite worked out to plan
100.
so far for the Barbarian.
$140.
Yeah, much more assured.
Well, he's been dealing more in the 140 department than he has done the 180 department in this game. 4 so far in this contest for Conan. That's a 5th for Derek, and it leaves himself on 1-2-1 after 9, looking to re-establish the 2-leg gap in this match.
50.
And he's going to
Derek,
get
you
plenty of
require
time because Conan
121.
is straying wide and straying left.
Yeah, whether he would have gone for the bullseye.
97.
May well have had a go. What Conan can't afford to do is just allow that
85.
frustration that you can
Derek, you
visibly see
require
creeping too
24.
much into his game. He needs to channel it.
Game shot on the fourth
But
leg.
when you're
Derek
playing
Coulson.
somebody of this man's class and quality, you need everything to go white. And for Derek Coulson, that's a 13
Fifth
darter
leg, it's
to
Conan
put
to
himself
throw
3-1
first.
to the good. He
Game
could put
on.
in 1 leg away from making it 16 points out of 16. A sweet 16 for Derek Coulson.
81.
And for Conan Whitehead, it would mean that his hopes of getting out of this group would go down to the last game against Kevin Edwards. Luckily for him, it'd be a simple scenario where he'd have to win, and that would be enough. He wouldn't have to go through the
140.
permutation routes of having to win by margins. But it's a situation you'd want to avoid at all costs anyway.
56.
Derek now, you get the feeling Okay, that one drifted into the 5, but you just get this feeling he really
85.
does sense where that finish line is. He wants an immaculate campaign.
100.
He can see the rainbow, can't he? And he's skittled the rest of the opposition to get there.
$108.
Very much on the cusp now. That 180, his first of the match. He's averaging 106. He's saving his best performance for last. And it's a sneaky 106 average as
94.
well, you have to say.
Cherokee required
That is the
96.
consistent path that COULSON's been plotting all game long. A 13 darter in the previous leg. Could round it up in the space of 12 if he can find double 8. Not to beat.
Conan, you require 170.
A real long range chance for Whitehead, and it's not going to happen. And it's all going to come down to that last match, you feel.
58.
Derek Coulson,
Cherokee requires
double 8 required.
16 points away from 16 points. It's a sweet 16 for Derek Coulson as he goes through Group B with an unblemished record. He has won every single game, and he is standing now on the cusp of potentially a third Champions League appearance. He's going to be one of the big favourites going into tomorrow night's final, and he's saved his best performance for last. An average in excess of 102.5, 4 out of 7 on his doubles. He's beaten Conan Whitehead by 4 legs to 1. John Worthley takes on Martin Turner after the break.
$54. Charlie require 164. $44. $32. Charlie require 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2 darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
require
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
Oki with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
180.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6 7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George
require
Gay wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Got
Couldn't get the job
it.
done.
Got it, the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Skate.
Super Series Influencers champion, George Skye!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. This is how the table looks. A dramatic game between Conan Whiten and Kevin Edwards will ensue in match 10 to see who the final qualifier is going to be. Martin Turner is safely through, and he's going to be joined by Derek Coulson, who won all 8 games in Group B. A perfect campaign for the Welshman. He joins Adam Zavada, who did so earlier on in this series. Bo Greaves, the last player to do so before that. That was back in April last year. The two Davids, Evans and Davis, did so previously, although 2 of David Davis's games was against Glenn Durrant. Alex Spellman and Andy Bolton, the other 2 players to do so in this building. Let's hear now from DC. He's downstairs with Chris Murphy.
Yeah, Derek, fantastic campaign, and what a role of honour to join. You must be really proud.
Very proud, yeah. I mean, it was. I came in today a bit nervous in the first game because I knew I needed that one game to really cement my place. But after that, I relaxed a bit more, and then I just, out of respect to everybody else, I needed to keep playing. So yeah, over the moon with the way I played.
You've remained so consistent. It's almost as if it's scripted what you're going to produce. It's been brilliant. You must be so happy with that to take into finals night tomorrow.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, consistent is nice. I'd maybe like to be known as a bit more than consistent, but in any environment, consistency is key. That if I know that I'm going to be hard to beat, and whoever I play knows they're going to have to play well to be able to beat me.
Well, it's good if you're consistently good, which you have been, and your game does seem to be getting better and better. Do you feel that you're improving every time you step onto that stage?
Absolutely, I do, yeah. More and more comfortable. The new darts has helped massively. I really do feel comfortable with those darts now, and there's no going back.
What was the thinking behind that change?
They're a bit chunky, my last darts. They look like I dragged them out of the gutter, to be honest. But they felt good in the hand, but I knew that I needed a little bit better darts, and they're a little bit thin. It took me a little while to get used to holding them slightly differently, but once they go in, they feel so nice.
We just saw that list of all the players that had gone through Group B unbeaten. Only one of them went on and won every single game on finals night as well.
Greaves.
Yeah, certain Bo Greaves. Is that a record that you're after matching now?
I would love to. I mean, Bo's superb. I mean, she's an amazing dart player. I would love to replicate that.
Derek, well done. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Well, he knows his history, and he knows where to find the right target, does Derek Coulson. He's through to tomorrow night's final, having not dropped a game and saving his best performance for last, the 102.89 average against Conan Whitehead, rounding off the evening's action for him. But we got 2 more matches to go until our night's done, and game number 9 is a dead rubber match. John Worsley taking on Martin Turner. For Martin, he's already through. John Worsley's out of the competition for the first time here at the Super Series. He's failed to make it through to the Saturday. It's a bitter disappointment for him, but for Martin Turner, a player who had tried on so many occasions to qualify through but was unable to do so, is now beginning to make qualification to Saturday a bit more of a regular habit now.
Yeah, it's almost like a role reversal for the pair of them. As you say, I think it's just one of those campaigns for John Worsley. Draw a line under, come back next time. Much stronger. As you say, came into this tournament second favourite. Just hasn't been able to deliver, but
96.
Martin Turner, we will see him tomorrow along with Derek Coulson, but we've still got that last match to go just to find out who will be the third player joining him.
What did you make of the Derek Coulson interview just there?
Yeah, it's probably worrying to the rest of the field that he's a player that's still feeling that he's improving. He's changing his equipment. They obviously feel much better for him. Taken him a while to get used to them, as he was saying, but yeah, now he has. Perhaps another player that's just going to go up and up.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of players make that step in the right direction here at the Super Series. Looks like Derek Coulson's going to be Another star on earth. He's played a couple of Champions Nights, but
81. Martin, you require
he's probably one of those players that now
161.
feels like this is just a qualifying week. Not an opportunity, but a chance to qualify for the big prize. There's a big finish. For the 161 isn't going to be
117.
netted. The bullseye goes a begging. And you can see with the twinkle in the eye of Martin there that he really, really did fancy it.
$140. Martin, you require 44.
So 44 for Turner. Double 16 for the break.
12.
Doesn't go, but they both
John, you
kiss close to the
require
wire.
84.
Chance here for Worsley to hold. Yeah, be looking at the 14 segment. Can't make sure of that single number. Would have left him the ball. So now over the other side to the 13.
44. Martin, you require 32.
So Turner for the break. Look at a double 16 and now up for 2 8s
24.
on the inside.
John, you
Not too
require
pleased at
40.
all. And so Worsley, look at it double top.
Just trying to work his way in.
20.
Overcooks it
Martin,
on the
you
last.
require 8.
More chances for Turner. Ninth start of asking and
No
still
score.
goes a begging.
John, you require
Well, that actually
20.
threaded through in the middle of the first two, that last one. So double 10 to eventually get off the mark.
Game
Pin
shot
with the
of
second
first
dart.
leg,
1-0
John
Worsley.
Second leg, it's Martin to throw first.
Should
Game
remind
on.
you the list for Champions Week, because it has been a few weeks since we've had regulation week action. Obviously, Andreas Harrison
134.
picking up the spoils at Double Trouble 3 this time last Saturday. The list of players that have qualified through to Champions Week: Alex Small, Jensen Walker, Sam
40.
Spivey, Shane McGurk, Reese Robinson and Scott Campbell won the last week of qualification before we had our
100.
mini break.
Yeah, it really does feel like quite an open group for the players that have qualified so far.
$27. $30.
Yeah, definitely the most open Champions Week I think we've ever seen for a Super Series. Only Reese Robinson has previously been at a Champions Week, and you compare it to
140.
the previous series, Series 9, where the winners of weeks were people that had been there, done it, won the T-shirt. Scott Taylor, former champion. John Henson won a week prior. Van Skeerd won a couple of weeks. Harrison, former winner. Darius had won previously before then, going on to win the jackpot. Tom Sykes has become a serial winner in the building. You tend to get your usual suspects now. But as of yet, we have not
Martin, you
seen any of them
require
qualify
97.
through.
Won't be able to finish this. I'm
57.
going back to that list. I will say, looking at the lineup for next week, you may get someone coming back that has tasted success. You've got the likes of Harrison and McEwen in the mix next week.
Graham Marshall, I really like the look of as well. Got through to the final of the World Seniors.
58. Martin, you require
A decent
40.
one today at the Challenge Tour as well. Turner looking at tops to level up at 1 apiece. Double 10 is found.
Game shot on the second
And we are
leg,
back level at
Martin
1-1. And
Turner.
actually, whilst we're on the subject of the Challenge Tour, the defending Super Series champion,
Third leg, it's John
Darius
to throw first.
Labanauskas,
Game on.
picked up Challenge Tour 7, beating one of our commentary team in Keegan Brown by 5 legs to 2 in the final. Though I'm sure Keegan would not want to be given first title of just a
60.
commentator. Right? As much as he enjoys it, he still has got plenty to offer the sport in a throwing capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite a field out there in
100.
Germany this weekend. So making it through to the final, I'm sure he'd be disappointed not to pick up the title. But Yeah, no mean feat getting that far into a challenge tour.
Well, he was
47.
kind of propping up Team Modus Super Series really in that challenge tour, because Jared Cole, who does a lot of spotting here at the Live Lounge, had a couple of early exits today.
Yeah, and despite an extra 2 tournaments being played, Bo Grieve still top of that challenge tour table, only by a nominal amount now. That win from Darius
85.
Labanauskas. That's put him up the ranking.
And because of the amount of
100.
dropouts as well, next week at the Pro Tour in Hildesheim, being high up on that list is going to give you an opportunity of playing on the Pro Tour next week. We'll talk about the order of merit as the game develops, because it really is interesting to see some of the names that are particularly in around the top 16. And some of the names as a result of today that have drifted out, because it's still early enough in the season for people to head up and down and for dramatic change in the rankings to take place.
Yeah, you could argue that list is a bit of a who's who of the Modus Super Series.
140. Martin, you require 156.
Well, Turner looking at 156 to find the break, and Worsey's ready there. 91 required.
100. John, you require 91.
Put his nose in front once again. And if it doesn't go, Turner's sat on a single to double combo. Single 20.
51.
Will leave himself
Martin,
on
you
top, see if
require
Turner cannot
56.
convert the 56.
Just bet the wire.
Game shot on the
Manages
third
to find
leg.
a way. It's so
Martin
much of an
Turner.
open bed to the left, but squeezes it in that top right corner. And all
Full
those
flag.
missed
It's Martin to the very
opportunities in that
first.
very first
Game
leg
on.
by Martin Turner. Missed 9 at the outer ring. Seemed to be forgotten now, and he's taken a 2-1 lead.
125.
Yeah, a number of players have actually dropped out of the Pro Tour next week. The player entries were confirmed earlier on today, and
55.
missing out from the tour card lists: Nathan Aspinall, Stephen Bunting, Johnny Clayton, Rob Cross, Chris Dobie, Brendan Dolan, Luke Humphries, Luke Little of Goan Price,
100.
Callum Ridds, Michel Torretta, Jules Van Dongen and James Wade. No surprise that a lot of the Premier League lot have decided to skip this one. And so opportunities have opened up for a lot of players that are playing here at the Live Lounge this year. Stefan Belmont leads
97.
the way. Carl Sneeds, who's having a glorious 2025 so far, the year of his career already. Darius Labanauskas, Tommy Lisham is at a 9 here. Kevin Vaness, we saw
100.
a couple of weeks ago. Mervyn King we're yet to see, but that will change. Danny Janssen, Michael Flynn, Jarno Bottenberg, Jeffrey Spadidand, Gilbert van der Meyen, Jimmy Van Ski and Ted Evans will all be given the opportunity to play
96.
in those 2 tournaments. And we know that there's usually an extra few spots available on the day as well.
82.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. I think only one player actually in this year's Premier League and is in attendance. That's Michael van Gerwen deciding to go to Pro Tour.
59.
Well, the ones in mainland
Martin, you
Europe
require
make sense to Michael
94.
because they're not too far away, whereas for everybody else there is a bit of a journey to be had. Turner looking at
Game
tops,
shot on the full
14
flag. Martin
data,
Turner.
3-1 lead. And of course, Chris Dobie said a month ago that he was never playing in these
Fifth
events
flag, it's
because
John
he wants to go and watch
first.
the Cup final.
Yeah, we know exactly where he'll be supporting his beloved Newcastle.
Yeah, I feel like Sunday at 7 o'clock will either be WhatsApping Paul Nicholson and
100.
congratulations or staying a long way away from him.
That's one of the things that we often say with regards to the diary.
57.
It's so jam-packed now for all of these players. There's so many tournaments, so many events all over Europe and the world. You have to be quite selective, and you can't neglect your social life as well. You do need some time away, and I think it's important
95.
and sensible, especially for those Premier League players, because I'm just travelling and talking about the events when we're going to Premier League, and that's exhausting
100.
enough. So for them, they're there a day early, they come back a day later, or they're off to another another event. It's hard going.
And realistically, the 8 Premier League players aren't just Premier League players that play the 17 weeks back-to-back. The same 8 players were used for the World Series in Bahrain. The same 8 players were used in Holland. You're probably going to see most of that amount playing in the United States and the Australian leg. So it's not just the 8 players that are playing then 17 weeks back-to-back in the Premier League campaign. It's all the other add-ons that they're going to get on top.
Yeah, we were saying we were present at Brighton. The players would have gone from Brighton to Belgium, then from Belgium to Leicester, then from Leicester
85.
with Nottingham, and then obviously now you've got the Pro Tour, and yeah, you can just understand just settle for going back to Cardiff. It's intense.
John, you require 161.
Manage the diary the right way, particularly now where you can pick and choose. Maybe there was a time where you had to commit to everything, but you don't have to do that now if you play your cards right. Talking about playing the cards right. Playing it perfectly there.
Flag, John Worsley.
The Wample with a big check out. The 161 goes. He hasn't had too many highlights this week, but he has found the big one there.
Yeah, saving his biggest finish. Just making sure he'll make the highlight reel tomorrow.
Well, it's been a week where maximums have been in tall order.
81.
A series where we've seen a lot of maxis. We haven't seen a 9 darter yet.
45.
Yeah, Kevin Edwards, who will be up next. They'd come very close in Group A on Tuesday. 8 perfect darts and not too far away from double 12 for the 9.
50.
Never seen one on a Saturday.
60.
Yeah, we could hedge our bets and say Turner's going to hit one. I mean, we've got a third of the field if we say that.
And Charlie Manby's brewing up to doing something special this week.
Brewing or bubbling? Bubbling up. Champagne Charlie.
100.
As for Martin Turner, I suppose it's kind of been more simmering than bubbling for him tonight, but he's done the job he's needed to get through.
41.
And that was all it was about for him. He's done that job. Tomorrow's a new night, but he's looking to cap off tonight with a 4-2 victory. He's got time to see the job off.
Yeah, going to have to wait. And has been efficient on the doubles in the last couple of legs, but doesn't want to fall back into that trap of chasing it around the board. A nice clean 16 tops because Worsley is not far behind after that visit.
56.
Well, for John Worsley, a first campaign in which he's not going to make it through to Saturday night. For Martin Turner, he will be playing darts on Saturday PM, but he's rounded off the Saturday AM with a 4-2 win against John Worsley. So for John, his campaign comes to a close. For Martin, we'll see him again tomorrow night. Wrapping up and closing off his campaign with a 4-2 victory against John Worsley. So that's the penultimate match done and dusted. One more game to go. Kevin Edwards against Conan Whitehead is a shootout for tomorrow night. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Martin Turner got the better of John Worsley by 4-2. Our final match between Kevin Edwards and Conan Whitehead will sort out who the final player through to tomorrow night's final is going to be. Now, Conan Whitehead only needs legs in this scenario, 3 of them, in order to qualify for the showpiece. As for Kevin Edwards, he must win by a scoreline of 4-2 or better if he is to make it through to the finals for the second time in his Super Series career. For Whitehead, it's actually a second go of this series. He played early on in this campaign, and he'll be hoping that the second opportunity he had will be the one that is good enough for him to perhaps go through to Champions Week for a third time. He's always promised us, Conan Whitehead, that he will be Co 2.0, but he's never said when that's going to happen. But he has promised us one day he will be joining Luke Littler in the club of players that win a Super Series title for a second time. And that's begging for a max to start.
108.
Never any other outcome.
Absolutely, it was on a pinhead. I don't know if you noticed, but he came out in that first match tonight and he was snarling at the back of the stage, and you could see him doing the same, really geeing himself up. He knows this is now the last chance saloon. And from a position where he was quite comfortable, Kevin Edwards was cut adrift. He was at the bottom of the table coming into tonight, and now both have this real opportunity to make it through to finals night.
Well, he's come out all guns are blazing as Conan Whitehead. He has re-established some of that vigour from his opening performance against John Worsley.
128.
What a leg this is. On for potential 11 dart breaker throw to start.
$45. Conan, you require 53.
Yeah, a potential 11 tops the target. Tops his pin, an 11 dart opening leg for Conan Whitehead. A breaker throw and almost the perfect start for the Barbarian. Looking to slay his opponent.
Setting his stall out right from the get-go. That's a max again, isn't it?
121.
But I think, you know, if he just keeps pinning these 2 travel visits, then Kevin Edwards is going to have to really dig deep to find any kind of response.
Well, Kevin Edwards is going to have to play at his best, and he's going to have to hope that Conan Whitehead brings it down a notch. Those are the 2 parallels at this present moment in time.
100.
Yeah, Conan Whitehead almost looking to kind of bookend tonight. Really strong first performance. Gone adrift in the second 2 matches, but
26.
really is right back on it once again here in the last. There are easier ways to try and qualify for Sunday than leave it to the very last match, but whoever does win this contest will be happy they're in.
Maverick, isn't he, Conan Whitehead? But when he is on, he is on.
83.
But I think the glaring frustration is that he hasn't been able to claw out that decent performance on a consistent enough basis.
60.
Only a 60 there, but he has got a lot of time to his aid.
I actually think that's the first time since we started the match that Conan Whitehead hasn't hit a treble on a scoring visit.
108.
But it's a max for Edwards.
Conan, you require 120.
Suddenly this has a different complexion. He may look at Bull here. First start track below, and
56.
there was a player that may have looked at that. It may have been Conan, but decided to persevere on that target.
Yeah, treble 20 required. Not going to happen. And I do agree. I think the way that Conan's darts lie, that just acts as that little bit of a barrier. But it's 8-8. Double 4 for a 2-0 lead in rapid time.
60. Kevin, you require.
This is how quickly
56.
things can change. Kevin Edwards has been outplayed for the best part of 2 legs, but he could level up a 1 apiece. If he finds double top, gets double top.
Second leg, Kevin Edwards.
Whitehead had the chance to move a leg away. Couldn't take
Third
it, and
leg,
Whitehead.
Kevin to throw first.
Well, I don't know if he's staring at the opponent or staring at the camera barrel.
That was definitely for us and everyone else at home. Frustration for Whitehead. Knew that was a key opportunity, and I think what would be more frustrating, 11 dart leg, breaks the throw in the opener and then can't hold his own throat.
It's probably summed up Conan Whitehead's campaign, but that's a bit more like it. The second time in 3 legs he's kicked off with a maximum.
I know we're only in the 3rd leg, but the gulf in the averages is nigh on 30 points, but it's the legs, one apiece.
Well, there's a gulf in that metric, but there's a quality in terms of the scoreline. But Whitehead doesn't need the win. He only needs 3 legs. Edwards is the one that's got to go out and attack this match. And he's only got room here to drop 1 more leg. Needed that last. Leaves himself on 170. Needs to find a treble here.
59.
Can't locate, and so Whitehead's got 6 on this mark.
Yeah, now you'll see the switch come into play. You see it from a lot of players on the 170. But
84.
sensible for Conan because that first dart's gone low.
So this to put him on the hill. It'll put him onto 2 legs. Only needing 3 to go through. He'd have the darts in the next to get to that magic number. Double 16. 2 on Whitehead. He's got the break. And he now has the darts to send himself through.
4th flag. It's Conan to throw first. Game on.
And Conan not being rushed. Back to the table, sip of water.
81.
He knows his process. And he will carry on doing it time after time. There's no breaking the chain, breaking the rhythm for Conan. For somebody that can perhaps look kind of laissez-faire when he throws a dart, he has got a bit of a
45.
ritual in terms of the way that he does like to do things, in terms of the way that he does portray some of his mannerisms on the hockey.
100.
Inviting first dart, just goes to the left.
135.
Yeah, but adjusts really well. And Conan Whitehead invested in every single throw at the moment.
Still edging it around the ton.
60.
And for Kevin Edwards, is he beginning to think this is slipping away, because Whitehead now is 240 points away from a safe passage through to the finals.
Looking to fill up the 19s.
133.
Have to settle for 133, but it puts him right back in the match.
Another. Leaves himself double 60 just on the inside.
124.
And that would have been some way to have sealed his progression.
As Edwards turn it, a big finish. Yeah, and it's a single number. I understand why he stood there. Double 9, not everyone's favourite, but it was a good first job.
You require 16.
2 8s. It's all go for Co. 3 legs was enough, and 3 legs he's got. And the former champion has qualified for Saturday night. Get in, he says.
Kevin to throw first.
He knows. He knows he's through. And he tells us that the champ is back for his crown again.
Yeah, he's been all pumped up at the back of the stage. Just a really big sigh of relief for Conan Whitehead.
140.
Well, it's certainly going to be a fun night tomorrow at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
81.
Certainly going to see some characters on the stage.
Yeah, that you can be assured.
97.
Yeah, but for Kevin Edwards, been a mixed bag in terms of how the whole week has gone for him, but done very well considering his position this morning to even be in this position by the last match.
140.
Well, 140 leaves Conan on the brink of completing the job with a win. And completing it with what would be potentially the group best performance, 103.35. We've been delving into the permutations without really delving into the efficiency of this performance or the excellence of this performance.
56. Kevin, you require 106.
When he's needed to put in a big performance the most, Conan Whitehead has found it. Edwards isn't going to find the 160, and so the Barbarian looks at 68.
60. Conan, you require
to get it done with not just a win, but a superb performance to boot. Guess where it ends? Not at the bullseye.
34.
No, it would have been slightly poetic if he could seal the last match with a win on the ball, but it's Kevin Edwards back hit. Ton required. Beautiful first start. Little lift, and now over to double 10 for 3-2. Double 10 is found, and we go on.
Edwards.
We get another leg for our money's worth.
6th flag, it's Conan to throw first. Game on.
Whitehead serving victory out here.
45.
An ironic raise of the eyebrows.
100.
There's that first start that we talk about so often with Conan looking to fill it up once again. And that's the third maximum of the match for the Barbarian.
Average ticks just under the ton mark once again.
6.
Kevin Edwards, he knows his fate has been sealed already. If he didn't know before, then Conan Whitehead let him know his fate was sealed when he picked up that third leg.
43.
A mixed bag in terms of scoring for Whitehead. 45 with then that massive 180, but backed up once again with 43. But Edwards all round the treble 20 bed.
78.
Does get one in between in the end.
For Kevin, a disappointing end to his weekly campaign, but for Conan, he's hoping it's just the first step on his journey. Now, because Conan's through, does he?
108.
I think he does.
Conan,
Bit more risky now, but yeah, that is his MO.
Could have at least gone for it, Co.
38.
Yeah, disappointing attempt.
83.
Edwards looking to level us up at 3 apiece. 16 will leave the ball.
38. Conan, you require 112.
He's not going to go ball 12 ball. But he could take out the 112 to win this match.
I think he's moving across to find a route through to the 20. Yeah, does find it.
Game shot.
And he finishes off with a big finish. Conan Whitehead with the 112 to wrap up. Success and a win, which books his place into the finals once again. The former champion, well, he'll be hoping to improve his performances tomorrow night, but he's done the important thing, and that's get the job done. This is how he did it, average of 95.74. He bookended his night with 2 good performances, did Conan Whitehead. He's beating Kevin Edwards there by 4 legs to 2. We'll be hearing from Conan on the other side of this short break. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy. So receive the trophy. £25,000.
The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Luke Ledlow!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Conan Whitehead got the better of Kevin Edwards by 4 legs to 2. That was enough to qualify him through to the finals later on this evening. We can confirm that by having a look at the table, which Derek Coulson dominated. He won all 8 games. He joins a handful of players who won every single game in a Group B scenario. And in the middle of Derek and Conan is Martin Turner on 10 points. So Conan Whitehead has won his way through, and you probably heard that he won his way through. He chose...
Oh, my throw? No.
Well, we weren't going to put you up here if you lost, were we?
Oh, well, no, I just thought I thought you was going to tell me to wish all the players good luck for the Saturday.
I mean, you can do, but a bit of a weird thing to do now you've got through.
Now I'm in, I'm not wishing them any luck. Especially Aaron.
Thanks, yeah. And this is just the start of the interview. Congratulations on making it through. 3 legs was enough in that match. All jokes aside, did you know 3 legs was enough, or were you...
Did you not say that I knew 3 legs was enough? Seriously, I knew 3 legs was enough. But thing is, against Kev there, you don't know what Kev's going to turn up. Mm-hmm. He can really turn it on. And I was throwing well. And at some point, I thought Kev's going to bite back here. When he hit that leg, and I think I missed darts at 8s and 4s. Mm-hmm. And then he took it out. I thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be this again. It's going to go 2-all, then 3, then he's going to go 3-2 up, and I'm going to be scrambling for the 3rd leg. But no, got the job done, so happy days.
Well, this is the moment you got the job done. Kevin was threatening the 138, was unable to take it. You come back for double 8. You think at this point, look, I've got an opportunity here. Edwards Yeah,
Well,
so
to be honest, I stopped and I never stop. I just go for it, but I knew what it meant. And there it is.
And I just want to kind of break down tonight generally, because the first game was really good. The last game was really good. Can you put your finger on a little bit, kind of what happened in the middle?
I think it's more to do with when you see the table building up, there's a bit of pressure there. And I was trying hard. I really was trying hard. And I've been trying hard all night. But when you know if you win another game, like my second and third game, I knew if I'd won another game, then I'd be pretty much safe. And then when you get bashed 4-0 by Derek, who we let win, by the way, this week, it's just a charity. He's a charity, isn't he? I'm not going to let him win Saturday. But we've let him win this week. So, well, he's got to do something before he pops his clogs. It's true. We'll discuss this at the back. But no, I did know. But an honest answer is the pressure was building up for the second and third game.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I needed to win one more. And the harder I tried, the worse it got, basically. And then the last game, I thought, well, it's or bust. It's do or die, isn't it?
You got the 3 legs, and then you rounded things off quite nicely. Have a little look down at this monitor here. This was the 112 to get the job done in the final leg.
Well, that was easy.
Match.
The 112 was easy.
Pressure off. You could enjoy
Yeah, there was no
yourself,
pressure there. I was thinking go back again 12 tops, but I thought me tops have been awful this week.
Mm-hmm. And you also, early on in that leg, by the way, threatened us with the 3 balls. Well, I say
Right.
3 balls.
I would never usually go the 3 ball route. I mean, I've been known to do it, but the first start was sitting so nice. I thought, I fancy this.
Mm-hmm.
And the second dart just clipped off into the 25. Should have gone treble 20 tops, but it is what it is.
What would be your assessment of Conan in this group?
Yeah, honestly, he's got the job done, I'd say, but he just always seems to do it, the most difficult route possible and leaves it. I mean, it's exciting for us to watch, but I just think the levels, especially what we saw today, that first match, that last match, you can see the levels of performance are there. They're bubbling in the background, and it was just a few times just dropped off the pace. Perhaps not happy. I presume you wouldn't have been overly happy with the level of performance yesterday, but really improved today, and lots of positives to take into tomorrow.
100%. I mean, yesterday, I think I struggled because come into the group and I thought, do you know what? I know it's a tough group, but I wasn't expecting the lads to play at the level they played at yesterday. They was all top notch. And when it was against you, I'm thinking, here's another one. Oh, and I'm going to lose again. Oh no. I started off losing the first 2, and I thought, do you know what? Just go into Friday with 2 wins at least, because I know I've got to only win 2 possibly on leg difference. Well, it happened today, so I wasn't happy with yesterday's performance, like you said, but today's I was.
But what does that say then about your character, that even when you're not playing at your best, you're playing for your level below par, but you're still able to draw out victories?
You know me, Henry, I always do enough. And I've always done enough just to get through to Saturday. And tomorrow, I'll tell you, I mean, if I'm feeling confident tomorrow, you'll see a different side of me. I'll be throwing them 90 plus 100 averages. But, I mean, even tomorrow, sometimes my confidence dips, depends. I'm one of these. I will play the player in front of me. If the player plays well in front of me, I'll play well. If he starts to dip, I start to dip, but I struggle to get back to playing well after that. So if I hit the ground running, I feel like there's damage tomorrow.
Well, let's have a look and see who you're going to be facing tomorrow night.
I already
because
know.
this is the tournament bracket. Well, let's tell our audience, shall we?
I've been here long enough to know exactly who I'm playing.
So you will know that you're
I've got a tough one.
Yeah.
Aaron's rubbish. Only messing, Aaron. I love you, like.
I don't want to be a fly. Oh, actually, I might want to be a fly in the wall of that practice room tomorrow.
So you got Charlie Manby and Derek.
Yeah,
Coulson.
Derek, the man that can't be beat at the minute.
And Charlie Manby, who won all but one game in Group C.
Well, then they're going to struggle with me, aren't they? I'll put it on them, and if they can't handle it, they're going to lose.
What about the other group, the 2 Turners and Neil Duff?
Don't care. What's it about to me? That's not my group. I'll just beat whoever it is in the final.
I'll be honest, I like it as an honest answer because that is the whole thing with darts. Darts is one of those sports you have to be slightly selfish. You have to focus on yourself. So I think anyone's attitude would be pretty similar. It's just that you say...
The other group's irrelevant to me. I hope the other 2 are worried about who they're playing, because I don't. I've just got to get through the group.
In terms of the dynamic for tomorrow night's final, it's very interesting because obviously, look, we know Conan's record, we know Neil's record in this building. You got a couple of Derek's record. You got 3 players that know what it's like to cross the line here, that won here on more than one occasion in both of their cases as well. And then you've got 3 other players. Charlie Manby's an interesting case because he's had such a good week this week. And then you've got Martin Turner, who's looking to cross the line for the first time, and obviously Aaron looking to do something similar. There's quite a dynamic where it's kind of split in terms of the experience scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, Charlie Manby was really solid in his performance in Group C. Tomorrow's slightly different because then you've got the crowd in, you've got the audience, and that just adds a different element to things. It'll be interesting. And honestly, I just think it feels like another week where it's quite open. Everyone's going to see that as a bit of an opportunity to make it through to the semi-finals. And then that's where it gets really, really cutthroat. So experience counts for a lot, but it doesn't count for absolutely everything. And you have to be wary of the people that are here on debut as well.
What has experience taught you about a Saturday night at the Super Series?
Do or die. You win, you're in. You lose, you're out. Simple as that. That's the case. You've got no cushions of group games to back yourself. You've got to hit the ground running and do well from the start. And it's, like I say, you haven't got that cushion. If you lose the game, you can't lose the next one. Because if you lose the next one, you're gone.
Do you embrace that, though, a little bit more, that knockout element?
I was born for knockouts. I love a knockout. It's you or me, simple as that. When you got the group stage in play, it's... it doesn't matter if I lose this one. I can win the next one and I'm back in the comp. But you don't get that in knockouts. And that's where the experience, I think, will come to see.
Let's talk 2025. Obviously, this is the second time that we've seen you in the Super Series. Obviously, we saw you at the Legends League as well early on in the year.
I'm a legend.
Super
I am
Series
here.
legend. Hey, you're the first ever to have the title.
Yeah.
No one can
I'll
ever
never let you forget that.
No, and neither should you as well. In terms of the year ahead, what's the goals? What's the expectations?
There is no goals or expectations for me, to be honest. I'm enjoying it this year. I've not got my tour card, clearly. And this year I'm just going to go and enjoy the game. I'm enjoying spending a lot of time with my daughter. Because if I was on the tour, I'd be here, there and everywhere. I wouldn't have a lot of time at home. And this year I'm enjoying spending a bit of home time. We've just bought our first family home, the end of last year. We're well happy at home. I'm enjoying spending time with my wife and daughter. And I'm just enjoying life at the minute. It's nice.
Darts with a smile on the face.
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't have been smiles if I'd lost though, because she would have killed me.
I believe.
Well, we haven't got Ada this weekend, and she wanted to night out tomorrow.
So
you won't see Ada here tomorrow.
So, in terms of tomorrow night, then crowd, everything like that, this is just familiar territory, isn't it?
Yes, I mean I've not even pushed the fact to get anyone down here to watch me tomorrow, because I just wanted to enjoy it. And if you want to come watch me, the more than welcome. Just send me a message, sort out tickets and whatever. But I just want to enjoy it.
And just quickly, you've got to go through the emotional roller coaster yourself again tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. It is really hard when you're watching a loved one, and I'm sure Shirley, she...
Can I say sorry now, just in case Aaron does get through and I beat him?
I'm loving the confidence. Honestly, this is...
Oh, I'm saying sorry just in case.
Just in case. It's going to be one of those confident groups. I think it's going to be quite fun to watch. It'll be a good evening, but yeah, absolutely. It's kind of switching yourself off to actually what's happening. But as you saw today, I wasn't very good at that.
Been a couple of fun sessions and a couple of fun interviews to
I've enjoyed it.
And I've enjoyed it too. Conan, thank you
very
so
much, everybody. Thank you very much, Laura.
See you tomorrow. I shall see you tomorrow. Get yourself strapped in, prepared to see Aaron in action once again. And we're going to get strapped in tomorrow night from 7:30. But prior to that, we have got more darts for you. The final of the ADC Tour Championships. Fallon Sherrick up against Gemma Hayter. That's coming up next. And of course, we'll have 24 hours worth of darts content for you on the dedicated Modus Super Series Pluto TV platform. And of course, as I mentioned, we'll be back from 7:30 tomorrow evening to see how week 7's going to come to a close. Conan Whitehead's made his way through. He made himself famous for the stare down, but it's Derek Coulson's looking to stare down the rest of the competition tomorrow night.
What a finish! What a man!
The drum roll finishes, and the target is
And it comes on finals night, and it's a knockout.
Dirty Harry!